That's great.
That's
That
great. I
was-
like that too.
Nice
That like
intro.
80s kind of like
Yeah.
laughing looking. It's
You
so-
did a great job, Jake.
like an 80s
Damn.
Very
sitcom.
much.
How did you find a clip of me laughing? I thought I burned all of those.
No, every time he just
Lot
waited
of
for me to
scrolls.
say something
That was
funny.
such a based intro. I'll just be
Yes.
honest. That was really good.
Yeah, it was great.
That was
I
like
loved
awesome.
it. I
Everyone,
loved
welcome
it.
John Ross.
Yo, what's up?
Hi,
folks?
John.
Hey.
Hello,
what's
John
going on?
Ross. Welcome to the program.
Thank
Of
you.
Or
the
should I say the
Jonathan Ross Show.
program? Because we're all just hanging out here tonight.
The program.
And big shout out to Jake for that LT9K day intro.
Yeah.
Yo,
Shout out
so
to
cool.
LT9K. We're earning the
We should
day.
also give a shout out to Looney Tunes 900
Yeah.
in the chat.
I like how you say that
Come on.
like you're in the mob. Shout out to
900,
Looney
that was the
Tunes.
previous model.
Shout the Looney Tunes. Everybody's like saying
How
hi to
I
me in your
felt it.
chat. Aaron W,
Good.
Bella, Luke,
Yeah,
I might fuck that up.
it's a very
Hey,
welcoming,
what's up on YouTube?
welcoming community. Teddy Cool
Yep.
is here. Good to see you, Teddy.
What's up,
And on
Eddie?
my chat, they're all saying
What's
hi
up,
to you
Emily?
also. Yeah.
See, Looney Tunes is already putting my, because they do this all the time when I'm in like YouTube chats. Looney Tunes. This is why I love Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is like, he's like this person's like my like person who like shouts
Your
out my
advocate?
stream. Yeah, my
Your,
advocate. And
You're
it's
like
Man.
I'm
surrogate.
so totally great. Yeah, well, unnamed surrogate, but I'm so totally grateful. So thank you, Looney Tunes 900, for like being the person who like one of my supporters, as well as the folks here. I'll stop simping now.
I do think it
Stop.
makes sense to have an appreciation day. for
Yeah.
that. That's-
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
All right,
mercy
look at
me.
that. Everybody's joining up.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I want to thank you guys for for participating in LT9K Day.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Well,
saw
it's
February
Gene,
7th.
What do I focus on? I focus on leftist politics. I guess I should just introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is,
Yeah, go ahead.
my name's
Who
John.
the fuck is this person that invaded
who
the
the fuck
stream?
Don't wait for us to be
Who the fuck is this
professional.
Like, everyone
shaved-head,
watching
four-eyed
this, who?
leftist? Who
What?
the fuck is this like wannabe leftist shave head 4-eye guy? Because there's like two of us here. Two of us, Ms. Brzezinski. There's like two of us who are 4-eyed, who need glasses, who are just wannabe leftist.
We
streamers.
all wear glasses.
I'm
by the way.
six-eyed. I fuck the four-eyed freaks. I'm
There you
six-eyed.
go.
I don't know
There you
about
go.
that whole team.
I will say, I am in good company. I am in great company. So yeah, my name is John. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a leftist
Missouri.
streamer, podcaster. I host a show called TJRS, which I'm probably going to change the name eventually. And I also am a Twitch. I stream on Twitch. I do game streams. Mostly, well, I won't say. What the fuck? I'll say Nintendo. I'm like a big Nintendo nut. So
Oh, is that like taboo or
Mario.
something?
Like good Nintendo or bad Nintendo?
Oh, what's bad
Good.
Nintendo?
good.
You know, like Nintendo Switch.
Well, I
Uh-oh.
think
Alright,
it's
fair
cool
enough.
because
Uh-oh.
all of
The
you
Virtual
gamers,
Boy.
you guys teach us a lot. You teach us a lot
Well,
about
I'll
things
say
that
this,
we don't
because
talk
I-
about.
Because I grew up on Nintendo, like it's my main thing. Like I no diss. I've had PS2, I've had the Xbox, so you're in good company, Andrea.
Would you have a Nintendo 64?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And I had the GameCube. That's like, but that was like my OG thing at age 10. I was 10 years old, and that was like the one thing I wanted. And when I finally got it, I was just like, "This is awesome."
Remember
Not
that shit
realizing
had
that-
a handle on it?
Yeah, it had like
GameCube?
a little handle.
I remember I brought it to
yeah.
school once, and I carried it by the handle. Oh man, it's the only time I
Ian
used it.
says, "Please, for clarity, define being a leftist." I guess you could call me a socialist, sort of maybe a democratic socialist, but like,
Cultural
I'm-
Marxist, would you say?
yeah. I mean,
And what policies does that entail? How
We got
about
a
that?
Cultural Marxist.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've read Marx, but it's not like, it's not like something I throw at people's faces. Just call me like at least a
Shit.
socialist, and I hope that works. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
Alright.
I'm definitely on the left. So take
It
my
really
word for it.
depends also what country you're in. If you're on the left in America, it's sort of like saying like I don't want to obliterate 90% of the world's population.
Right. With
You're
war
welcome, dude.
anyway. Yeah. Because that's
Um,
happening.
Very big.
Goddamn
tent by
Americans
But,
are
necessity.
like, I'm
crazy.
also like being part of left. I'm also sympathetic to like pretty much everything. Like, I know Andrea is like considers herself like an anarchist. Like, you're part of the anarchist left. Like, I actually do sympathize with that because there's a
Fuck
lot
yeah.
of good things about anarchy.
I have a
You
lot
know,
of
I
sympathy
mean,
as well.
yeah, and like
I
I'm
have a lot of
also
sympathy for
Matt.
people that are not anarchists. You know, I just feel real bad for those guys.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'm an
They
anarchist.
actually have hope that elections will like fix something, or like they think that logic wins the day. You know,
Mhm.
Well,
God
Well,
bless
John,
their
though,
souls.
what is a leftist in America?
I guess a leftist in America would just be someone who kind of cares for the little guy. Like for me, it's like I've lived where I
Yeah.
call myself a socialist is like, well, I've lived off socialism my whole life. Being disabled, being autistic, it's like I've had to live off government assistance. Now, does this mean that like I think the government is helping a lot of people that with like people like myself with disabilities? Absolutely not. There's a lot of picking and choosing in America, especially with the government, with people with disabilities, and some people get the good stuff, and some who don't, and then the people who don't should are fighting for it. Case in point, if I struggle with my words, I'm sorry. I'm just very
No,
little
it makes sense
No,
because
we're fine.
I often think about it's a very casual, informal show, but what I often think about the
I'm actually going to go full screen so that way the comments aren't showing.
Oh yeah,
There
that shit's
are-
Oh, it throws
distracting
me
as
too.
hell.
Yeah.
They're always talking
I can't-
about
Yeah.
you. They
cannot
always
look
have
at 'em.
fucking things to say.
I
like,
love
No,
the
they
goddamn-
don't
comments.
know.
That's what
Keep
I
it to
love
yourself,
it.
man.
No, I love.
Oh, thank you,
chats.
Jean.
Oh, don't do
But
that.
it's also like I just don't want to see like a comment on like as I'm like talking, and then I look at a
Oh, yeah.
comment, and then there's somebody like saying some weird shit about me.
You don't
like,
wanna be
"Oh, he's-"
distracted
Yeah,
yet.
it's like yeah,
Who's
I'm
this
like, I'm just gonna go
fucked
full
up
s-
idiot talking about having glasses on the show?
yeah.
Can
It's
you
like
believe-
I
We
think
have no
that
format,
I'm
thing
John.
ever.
farsighted, so I have to wear glasses.
I will go
Yeah.
through.
Does that mean you
the
can
like
see
the,
far away?
No, if I were to take my glasses off now, I would everything would be blurry.
I will go through
But you're far
the show
Yeah,
later and watch the replay for the live comments again
at
I
2x.
can't see
because I'm
anything.
vain enough
Oh.
to be like, did somebody laugh at a joke that I did?
That's awesome.
Really? God, I never.
Oh,
watch
I
the
just
replays
assume they're
once
laughing
in a
at my
while.
jokes, right? Should I not assume?
I just assume they're quitting
you
in
should.
rage.
So hold on, Sandy,
Yes.
how do you say the word cacophony?
Cacophony. Cacophony.
How
I don't know.
long have I? Because this isn't like today's not the first day I use this word.
I would imagine
Yesterday was the
that
first day.
a lot of
actually,
New
you just learned
Yorkers might say cacophony. You know,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
but
think it's
'Cause
wrong.
I don't
think
know if
both
it's
I've
wrong.
never
What do
been
you have to look
corrected.
it up?
Fine.
No one's ever corrected me.
That's
and
because
I'm
no one
starting to be
knows what that
like,
fucking word is. So they hear
Really?
you say
Mm.
cacophony and they're like, what
Cac-
the fuck does that mean? This guy's a super genius. So they don't know.
Cac-
I have always said
Okay.
cacophony, but I think
It's-
cacophony
it's-
works.
It's,
Chat, give me a number one.
Cacophony. It's
Chat, give me number one
cacophony.
if you say, I can't even remember the way I used to say it, cacophony. Or, fuck. Give me number one if you say it my way, and number two if you say it Sandy's way. It's gonna
Become
be all
the
fully
record.
indoctrinated in the lifestyle of the cacophonies.
Cacophony.
That's what they
Cacophony.
called us back in the day. Me
Cacophony,
and my crew
cacophony.
were the cacophonies.
Okay, I had a cacophony happen right before the show.
Oh, they're
cac-
all saying two. That's just because it sounds right. Oh, Mila, 0.
Sounds
Thank
like
you,
the
Mila.
correct thing.
Thank you,
Mila's
Mila.
thinking
Mila
outside the
says you're
box.
both
She
right.
said, fuck this question. This is a
Mila-
stupid question. I thought this
Mila
was a leftist show
says-
and we're talking about cacophonies. Like, give me a
Donald
break.
said it's a band.
Everyone gets a trophy. That's what Mila said. No, but look, now
Yeah.
I'm upset at all the people who never corrected me. Thanks for letting me walk around looking like an idiot. God.
Oh my
Well,
god.
that's
you
the
know what?
thing
I
is
don't think
they're
it's
bigger
wrong.
idiots. You
This is
know?
why I appreciate
So-
you, Sandy. Thank you.
Do you
You
ever
set me
watch?
straight right away.
Potato,
Have you
potato.
ever watched me and Jennifer struggle through scientific articles?
I would not do it myself.
Russian words in all the things that we do. Trust
oh,
me.
I love reading science
and
words.
yeah, and we just tell everybody sorry, but we're not Russian, but we're reading about because we talk about Siberia and the permafrost, which we call permamush. So, okay,
Irma mush. I like that.
I prefer
permamush.
perma slush.
So
Yeah, well,
John,
Jennifer's very.
Mhm.
I'll be here all week.
John, the way I look at it is being leftist in America is understanding it's a lot, but mainly the core for me personally is understanding that the socioeconomic circumstances have changed beyond individual success. Now we need more policy, and democracy has to shift in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah. It has to change from the corporatists and the oligarchs and the capitalists that have just
Well, that's
basically
what
ruined
has
this country.
that's what has changed. That has distorted the whole thing to me is the fact that now we do have essentially oligarchs. I was watching a show. There's this really great show called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It was a movie.
I
Yeah.
saw it.
The Brad Pitt movie, and that's
The
like
show is amazing.
I never saw
There's
it.
8
I've
episodes
seen the
out
movie.
now. It's
The
brand
Pitt
new.
like I saw the Brad
hated the
Pitt
movie.
and yeah, that's like when they got together. That's like
So on the show, this guy
broke up
says,
with
well, your house
Jennifer.
is so
Yeah.
unique and you've done things to it that even if you did get a zoning permit, like the pool in the garage, only a Russian oligarch or a Saudi royal would actually do. How
Mm.
could you afford it? And I was like, are you living in America? Because I'm sure that happens all the time here. Like, you got to update your references there. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Mhm.
either a Russian oligarch, a Saudi royal, or one of 400 people in the United States of America. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. There's lots of people who can do incredibly wealthy moves, and it's totally, pointless.
Mhm. There's just too much. There's just too much corporatism going on in America at this point. I think that
The sunglass industry is out of control.
These
Yeah.
fucking guys.
I want to know where everybody is tonight on my channel. Where are y'all? Come on,
I
guys.
did something unfair. I
Do you want-
redirected my channel, my last show, to my channel for this show. And when
Oh,
it happened, I was
that's
like,
fine.
wait a minute, though.
That's not the issue.
A lot of these people aren't going to be, and I guess a lot of them did go over to their respective
Mhm.
chats where they normally hang out.
Their
But I didn't know if
families.
that was fair of me to do. Sorry.
Oh
That
no,
is
I'm
very
just
fair.
looking
Fucked up,
to.
and I'm glad you brought it up because I was gonna say something about this.
Mhm.
And,
I don't understand
I'm
what you
glad
did,
know it's just
so-
fucked up. Like this is, you have all these shows and you're trying to fucking create this monopolized environment. You're not sharing the wealth at all. Like some fucking commie you are. You know what I mean? This is some fucked
I'm not a commie.
up ass.
I'm not a commie.
Yeah, exactly.
If we were communist, I'd be like, okay, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not making the first move there. But if we were, I'd be like, all right. But
I'm not. My father
Exactly.
was. I'm not.
John, here's a new question we ask all our guests. If you saw any one of us in public, would you run? Would you just walk by and say, hey, what's up, Matt? See ya. Or would you stop and chat? What would you do?
I would do one of 2 and 3 at the same time. But I would also show my respect and my restraint. If I saw any of you in public, knowing how prominent
So-
you guys are,
Running away, you'd be like, I really
No,
want to stop and talk, but I'm not.
if I was
Great to see
busy,
you.
if I was in a hurry, I probably would. I would be respectful and I'd be like, "Hey, it's great to see you, but I got this thing going on. Hey, let's chat later," kind of thing. I
Even
would
if
normally,
you didn't have a thing going on? Because now we know that this is just a tactic of yours to get out
Let's
of.
be honest. You never have anything going.
well, if I was like, if my head was
Adria.
elsewhere, my mind was elsewhere, I probably would. But I would
I'm-
not do it to be rude. I would never do it to be rude.
I'm starting to think
Um,
Sandy and I are the only actual social people here.
You're starting
I
to think
tried
that?
it-
What
okay,
gave
Yeah,
you
but
wait,
away?
Matt, I don't leave my
Let me-
property for
Could I
Oh,
a
man.
I answer
week
the
at a
rest-
time. I don't leave this little
if I
homestead
may,
here.
answer the rest of the question? I would do
You
like
may.
probably if I would have we saw each other in public in real life, I would first I would acknowledge you. I would say, "Hey, what's up, Matt? Hey, what's up, Jake? Hey, what's up, Sandy? Hey, what's up, Andrea?" Or I would just kind of give you a head nod, again, showing respect, and just be like, "Hey, what's up?" I wouldn't like fan person over. This is the thing that really bothers me about the left is that a lot of us who do lefty podcasts and streams, we just fan boy or girl or however you want to say it all over these people. It's like we treat them like
Not me.
celebrities. Well, I know,
I
but
can't tell you the number of
I don't
times I've had
understand
to
that.
like stop somebody in the middle of a autograph demand to be like,
but
I'm
isn't
off the
isn't
clock.
that kind? I
all
mean, I
right?
know that it's flattering, but isn't that kind of annoying? We're just like
Well, part of
you want
my
to be
No, I've
acknowledged, but
literally
it's
never had that
also like,
happen.
well, if you did hypothetically, it would be annoying because it's like, yeah, you want to be acknowledged, you want to be, they know who you are, but it's also like this whole thing, like, oh my, they just want to touch you. They think like you're the Messiah or something, and it's just like,
I don't
come
think
on,
anybody thinks that of me.
I haven't
come
experienced
on.
that,
Because of
but I've had hundreds of people ask me for my autograph, like on comics and stuff, like at
Mhm.
Comic Cons, But
Right.
it's rad.
there was one
But
time.
Well, that's
This
because
was
that
like
was
show
that
like
you're famous there.
well, okay. So one time I was at the Hard Rock Cafe's booth. I had designed their shirt that year for Denver Comic Con, and all kinds of people were like getting autographs and all this stuff, and it was really cool. It took a couple hours. Then somebody came up who I knew, and I stopped and talked to them, like, "Hey, I'm just saying."
me
And okay, now I'm having fun here, but you raised
too.
a new
Good.
version of this question that I think is interesting.
I just go on a
If
rant sometimes.
if you John Ross saw
Mhm.
the other 4 of us together and
I
we
would
were
hype.
like, "John, what's up?" You would definitely just be like head nod out of respect and keep going?
Well, I would approach you and probably give you a high five and say, "Hey, what's up?"
I don't high five.
Well, I'd give you a hand. I would high five you anyway.
He's just
I'd be
making
like,
it difficult.
I'd give you high fives anyway, or I'd give you a fist bump, or
Okay, I'll fist
I
bump.
mean, a handshake's
Sandy-
kind of boring, so I wouldn't really do that.
Wouldn't it be weird if you walked out of your house and like the 4 of us were like, "Hey, dude." You'd be like, "What the
That'd be scary.
I'd be shocked, but I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Kind of thing.
How great would that be if like George Clooney or some like mega celebrity ends up like inviting themselves over and like wearing out their welcome? I would pay
yeah.
so much money to see that. Like I can't get
That
rid of
is a
Clooney.
show that needs to happen." That actually kind of did happen. The actress that played what's her name? On Game of Thrones, the youngest sister.
Can I just say I don't mean this might be my cancel moment, but I have never seen Game of Thrones.
I never seen it either.
I mean,
Okay.
It sounds stupid. Like,
Look,
it's a game.
I don't
Yeah.
Or
know.
is it a game or a show? What the
Yeah.
fuck are you gonna call that shit?
Swords.
It's like if I
I've
made a
never
video game
seen
called
I've
the
never
TV show.
I've heard of but I've
what the
never
fuck?
seen Game of Thrones. I've never watched Walking Dead. I've heard of
Really?
it. No. It's cuz yeah, that's
I've
I
never
saw the
seen Walking
company-
Dead either. Like, are they walking or are they dead?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They
Like, what
probably
the
Maisie-
fuck?
Maisie
Are they
Williams.
both?
Maisie Williams surprised people who were having a
Can I
Game of
ask you a
Thrones watch
question?
party
Can I just can
and
you throw
overstayed her
Tinkerbell's
welcome.
chat up real quick? Her little
that?
post. Throw Tinkerbell's chat up back up real quick.
Oh, which
That
one?
one was pretty
2
base.
seasons. Should overstay
Yeah,
it.
well, it moves pretty fast. This one.
Oh, it did? Yeah, that one I actually like that. The real leftist
Ah.
mafia.
Just leave that one on for the rest of the show. Just it blocks my face, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. In fact, let me make sure it blocks even more.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh.
There's no diss on leftist mafia. That just
I-
stood out for me.
Actually, well, I do want to start some for no reason internet beef with them. I just haven't been able to figure out an angle. To approach it,
Somebody-
but
We should.
Somebody said, remember that chat? Somebody made on their show and said, "Do I really need to watch this? I already watched Left Past 10." That was after our first episode, and I was like,
That
"You're
was
just
like
trying
a
to set up
fucking.
Yeah,
that
but
was
that was
like
a
that was
joke.
basically their October 7th when you really think about it. Like that shit was
their
fun.
joke.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ."
Oh, stop, Andrea. That's my role. Oh, stop, Andrea. How many times do I say that during
I
the
don't
show?
think
Oh,
they've ever
stop, Andrea.
recovered.
I mean, if it was, I appreciate their reaction. But what were you going to
Yeah.
say, Jake? You want to start a beef?
Well, yes, and I actually do have a celebrity overstaying their welcome story. I used to co-host a radio show with a gal named Mary Ellen Murphy, and I'm realizing I probably shouldn't say the celebrity's name, but there was somebody in town who was it was on the far west side of the state, but they happened to be coming through Grand Rapids, so they did a promotional program. And Mary Ellen, in the kindest, most like professional way, being respectful of their time, did a half-hour interview with them, and then was like, "All right, well, we're gonna be playing tunes here all day. I understand you got to get ready for the performance, but tickets are on sale now." And this is like, it wasn't from AC/DC, but let me use them as an example. It was like an AC/DC big band. Like we assumed they were doing us a favor, basically, by coming on our dinky little radio program. They're like, "I don't have anywhere to be. I'll stay." And we were like, "Okay,
Format.
more AC/DC after the break." 2 hours later, we're like, Mary Ellen's like, "All right, well, you got to get ready for the show. We got songs to play." And they're like, "Oh, we got all the time you need." It's like,
So,
I
Jake,
would
did you get
have
started
worked
in
that
radio?
so well.
actually, no, I did not.
So
I just
what
wound
band
up
was
there.
this?
I chickened out as I was telling the story, and now I'm not going to say. What did
Well,
you
could
was-
say,
you
Matt?
send a private
Gene
chat so we
Simmons.
can know?
Yes, I will.
It's like a Jeopardy question. Like
Okay,
if somebody answers like a kid, it's like, who is Gene Simmons?
John, don't read the private chat out loud that Jake is about to give us.
I
I'm
won't.
not going to do it
I
till
won't.
after the show.
I'm
Okay.
I'm
Oh
on
no,
Zoom,
let's see it
so-
now so we can.
I
So
don't.
we
know
all
how
gotta
to
react.
TCS
and-
react.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? That's a huge get. Oh wow, and you are so disrespectful. Oh,
You're not going to type it. Come on.
All right.
I gotta
I'm not
look.
seeing. I'm
What's
not
in
seeing the
there?
private chat right now.
Oh,
I'm seeing
I'm
it,
good.
and boy, is it private, and it's a chat, and it is.
Okay.
There's
Wowee,
I
what
don't
a
understand
doozy.
it. So
What a doozy!
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Do
Yeah,
I even
I
see
won't
it?
read
What
it out
a
loud.
Oh,
I see it now.
fucking!
I see it
Got
right
it.
now. So
I can't.
I'm
I
so
can't.
terrified now. I'll delete YouTube.
can't.
Don't say.
what? I don't even
It's
understand
Mary
what the.
Ellen's
I
story.
can't.
I'm going to
Oh
sit back.
my
But
I
you guys,
I
level
would
of
have milked
disrespect.
that. I would have milked that 2 hours. It would have been all about me for the rest of the time. It would have been like,
this
So-
will definitely be like this will be like my thumbnail shot. Just me taking a sip of this Coke, just like this.
yeah. But I would have
I
just
got all over
given,
myself. But
I would have just given like endless amounts of stories, and that guy would have been like, I actually do have to go. And I go, no, hold on, just wait. I'm almost done. I would have kept him. Don't tempt
You
me.
gotta
That's the
reverse
thing,
it,
like,
you know?
You would be shocked how quickly you run out of questions for a famous person.
Yeah.
Because
That's why I
like,
was
the
just
more
talking about
famous-
me.
Out. I wouldn't
The
run
more
out.
famous they are,
Get
the
me
more
on there.
known
I
I
would.
never
I
run
would
out
have
of
at least
questions
78
with
questions.
with
Other
my
stuff.
people.
Yeah, you're like,
I
"I've been
usually
to
would just
Disney
have like
World."
you would just have like a pre-written down few questions you need to ask and just move on to the next one. Just ask your
I-
question, let them give the answer, and just move on. Move on.
That's the thing.
Do you
it's
guys
like-
all write questions out when you have?
I mean,
guests?
I
Hell
have
no.
to
I
I
because
don't anymore.
like
I do.
I have to because like my neurodivergent brain just doesn't
Alright.
function as well as folks, so I have to do it. Like,
Mhm.
but like if you know it off of memory, like if you know what the next question you're gonna ask off of memory, if you have like a good memory, then you probably wouldn't need to write questions down. But for someone like myself, I do need to because
I have three.
Then it would just be awkward.
interviews written out for one guest. Like
Oh,
I
geez.
have so much, and then I'll bold the ones I definitely have to ask. I'll put the follow up in parentheses, and then I'll italicize the ones for filler if they're just giving me yes or no quick answers, and I need more questions. It's
Right.
so it's dialed. It's scripted for
I'll
for
give you
my
my
part.
real
But then I
answer.
allow it to be organic.
Mhm.
I actually do
I mean,
write
like-
out questions, but they're just starting points. The
Yeah.
real interview happens
The
in the
r-
follow-up question.
Yeah. And they're really just bullet points. Like just kind of give
Yes.
yourself like time to like think about how you're trying to say. Like
Absolutely.
I got Dan from the internet coming up like a couple of weeks. Yeah. So
Love
it's like
that
I
guy.
really have to I have to like think about what I want to tell him. And knowing him on a like a personal basis sort of cuz we come from the same boat as like being formerly part of the TYT like space, emphasis on formally, meaning not there anymore. And that's a whole other topic I want to talk about tonight. So hope there's enough time to.
I
Uh
mean, we'll be here for a while.
We got at least 7
Awesome.
hours.
well, because like Andrea,
Huge.
I have to say this, like
Oh no.
I like in positive, and I know you kind of have a problem with compliments, so forgive me. But like you have actually been one of our biggest supporters for the former moderators that quit. And
I'm a bigger supporter than Andrew.
well,
That's
you
why I'm
both
one
are.
of.
You both are.
I'm
And
just
I will
one.
s-
I'm
I
not
will
the.
say I will say this, Andrea, and I mean this in all sincerity. And you can actually clip this later for the YouTube, Matt, if you wish to.
I'm about to
Um,
mute you. I'm just kidding.
I know. So, and the other thing is, like, I don't know if people are being serious or not, because I know we like to be funny and tease
I'm
around.
not
But I
being
will.
serious.
I'm
I will
always
be-
extremely serious, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to religion.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I have another thing about that,
Politics.
Andrea, because you and
But
I are in the same
I
boat as far
interrupted
as
you
religion.
though.
But
Finish
like
the
You're like
thought.
6
Andrea
tangents in here.
was the only person on the left or in the leftist podcaster community, streamer community, whatever you want to call it, that read our resignation letter front to back and clipped it and put it on her show. And for that, you have my respect 1000%, my friend. So
I appreciate the respect.
so 'cause
I was
nobody
shocked
else
no
would.
one else
Nobody
did it, 'cause
else
it's
would.
good for chasing
We
the
told-
algorithm too.
I
yeah,
wasn't
well,
asked
the
to.
thing
You
is,
can
we
make
told
money doing that
everybody.
shit.
I wasn't asked to.
And
Well,
nobody
like-
on my channel would know what I was doing.
Yeah, you didn't ask to, but you also didn't volunteer because you
I
really
let
don't
it
give
be
a
read.
fuck. Letter.
I let it be read.
Well, the thing is, like,
Well, I didn't support you, but that's
nobody-
only because
we-
I'm negging you.
We told
that's my
the-
strategy.
We told the
No,
we
go ahead.
asked people kindly, like fellow leftist people, even good faith people that supported us, to read this letter, and they wouldn't even do it. Like,
Yeah.
even in like
They don't wanna get
TYT's
involved.
main. I get it, but it's like also it's like we're supposed to be unified. We're supposed to be a community. And I know that we're fractured right now. The post Bernie left is just
Boom.
it's
Yeah.
just real it's at a question mark at this point. I mean, we don't
It
know.
is.
I mean, going into this election, like I'm gonna be real with y'all. I ain't voting for Joe Biden.
Hmm.
Sorry, not sorry. I am not voting for him. And if
Who
that
are you
gets
gonna
me
vote
canceled,
for?
I have someone in mind on the left, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Well,
say.
then vote for who
Okay.
you want. That's why, that's, I mean, if we had a true election system and we had primaries and we had everything, we would have choices. So
Yeah.
just act as if and do what you need to do.
Thank you,
The
Sandy.
thing that makes
I
me
appreciate you.
nervous, or rather, I should say, the thing that used to make me nervous when I heard people say, "I'm not voting for Joe Biden," I'd throw my hands up and be like, "God dang it!" Because in years
Mhm.
past, and this is not this generation, but in years past, they didn't actually mean I'm not voting for X candidate. What they meant is I'm not voting because the presidential candidate is X. But I've noticed leftists these days, when they say I'm not voting for Joe Biden, and you
And-
ask a question like Sandy just asked, they have an answer, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of this person or that person," as in they're still going to vote. They're still going to go
Right.
to all those other races that really matter, in my opinion, and that makes me so happy. It makes
The
me so
local
happy.
races are very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't
just
tell
delight it.
anybody who to do or what to do. I know what I'm going to do and why I'm going to do it. And I have issues with Project 2025. I have
Yeah.
huge issues with losing the EPA. I have huge issues with all of these things that surround our climate. I know these wars are horrible. I know this is an oligarchy. I know all of this, but I know what can happen. I'm seeing it. And history does repeat itself. But I do have no problem with what people want to do, except I don't understand why people would want to vote for Donald Trump. And that's a
I
whole
am
different
going to vote for
story.
Joe Biden because he is the man for the job, and he's going to get it done, and he's going to build back better.
Here's a good comment. Look what this guy said.
We need
I
hate
movements
this
that
guy.
inspire candidates, not
Mhm.
candidates inspiring movements.
Right.
You know, I like that. I like that.
That's
This
smart.
person
He's
seems
smart.
sharp. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't
headline.
need
I
all
feel like
these
I wouldn't just
Letter
get
hack
along with them, but they
Sears,
have a good
Bernie
point.
Sanders.
details at
Breaks with
11.
the Sanders movement.
Aren't you done with that
Details
though?
at
Aren't you
11?
done with everyone waiting for a fucking politician to show us the
Yes.
way instead
Yeah.
of us showing the
I've
politicians
been doing it
the
longer than
way?
all
Yeah.
of you, and I've been
I-
waiting, but I had
Yeah.
tried and done and protested and marched, and here we are.
And I
And
got
it's-
I
bad
want the
news.
president
None of it
that
worked. It
signs
was
the
all a waste of
legislation.
time.
No, pro-choice worked. We had it. We had Roe versus
Yeah,
Wade.
and
a long
well,
time.
what happened
It's
to
not-
that?
yeah.
So,
Well, they tried to
I want the
destroy it through the
next-
whole, through all these decades. They tried to destroy it, and they finally did because
Steamroll,
somehow
Jake,
we were
steamroll.
asleep.
Oh, I want to hear what she has to say.
We were asleep at the wheel in a way. We were too complacent.
What does everyone think of the current political movements on the left, like existing ones that came out of the Bernie
Labor.
movement?
I'm looking
I
at it.
actually, I actually think that the political movement of the left currently has potential to fulfill my ultimate fantasy, which is to have the next monumental legislation be signed by a president who is essentially at the end of a sword with their toes at the end of a plank, and they're either going to sign this or get shoved off. Like, I want a president to essentially be a puppet for a movement and know it. We darn near have had, basically, I think MAGA has given us the outline for how to handle politicians. It's just instead of asking them to do the worst things imaginable, we insist that they do decent things. And instead of threatening, like, oh, I'm going to do fill-in terrorist activity that just gets them arrested and makes the whole movement look silly, just be honest and be like, I am going to make sure you don't get reelected. All
Mhm.
this corruption you get to do, you won't be able to still do.
Is it like, I know that we also have like an issue with like third party candidates in this country. Like we blame them for like, stealing elections from.
Well,
the
Jill
Demo-
Stein
Andrea,
did
what
not
is-
cause
people
any problem.
do that.
Sorry, but it didn't
you know,
happen.
What
Jill
was
Stein's
that?
running again.
Yeah, but she didn't
Yeah.
cause Trump to win. She was an alternative candidate when Bernie got railroaded out. And a lot of people like Jill Stein. And yes, she's running again, but this time it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein in the first presidential
Oh my-
election.
I met
Can
Jill
I-
Stein.
regret it.
She's cool.
My uncle
I
gave
don't
me a
regret
bunch of
anything.
he's not going to see this show, so I'm not worried about throwing anybody like family under the bus. So, but like one of my family members who's like a diehard liberal Democrat, when I told him that I wasn't voting for Hillary Clinton in 2016, gave me a bunch of shit for it. Oh fuck, that's my phone. Hold on.
Nope,
Oh, go
there. It
ahead.
turns out they
Discord's
are watching
fucking-
the show.
Discord's
Just
fucking
heard you.
going off at this moment. I
Uh.
forgot to turn the notifications off. But
Wow.
yeah, like when I told my relative that I wasn't voting for Hillary Clinton, that I was sitting out the election, gave me shit for not doing it because I was a diehard Bernie Sanders supporter, and did not like Hillary Clinton because obviously the writing is on the wall. We don't need to know every little thing because we already know. He gave me shit for it and told me I was wasting my vote and like gave me shit
She
about
still
my
won the popular
generation.
vote. I mean,
Just gave me shit
Yeah.
about my generation, which as a millennial that's like closer to Gen Z apparently, I feel strongly about being against the corporate oligarchy system.
Right.
Truth
But
be
we
told,
need power.
I am going
don't
to
have it.
advocate for people to vote for Joe Biden because I think it's good strategy. But I hold no grudge against people that don't because he's done some evil and we knew that he
Some
would.
evil what?
Unfortunately.
You cut
Evil
out there
shit.
for a second.
That's his
I said
gift.
he's done some evil, and
so good. I don't know how you
the
do that.
point being, it is in my mind useless if we get Joe Biden again and we don't get the House and Senate back. And it also nullifies Trump if
the whole thing.
we get Trump in office again, but we do get the House and Senate back.
Big-
So in my mind,
Big issue.
that's where the fight is: House and
Yep.
Senate.
Yep.
And progressives. Actually, the fight's right now. It's not even.
How much do you
stage
think
2
the
is November.
squad?
Primaries
How much
first.
do you think that the squad will actually hold on to their seats? Because don't you think they're kind of
At
in
least
a
one of them's gonna get cooked here, and that's
Oh
my
yeah,
feeling.
there's funding to get, like, in Westchester
don't know.
County. There's somebody that's running against Jamal Bowman, and he is the Westchester County, New York Democrat. He's like the county executive in Westchester. He's just a corporate Democrat, and I'm so pissed. I'm already on Twitter doing, saying this is bullshit. Latimer, his name is Latimer. And Jamal Bowman is really a spectacular congressman. I'm sorry. This fucking guy is just
He pulled a fire
so
alarm for that.
angry.
He gets my respect, and that's some pretty
Yeah.
cool shit right there.
yeah. I
Pranking
like
all of
Jamal.
Congress.
being
Fuck
from
yeah.
Missouri, like of course Corey Bush is in my state, so yeah, my uncle didn't vote for Trump. I have one uncle that is a Trump supporter, and he and I have been at each other's throats. So I have like two uncles actually, one on my dad's side and one on my mom's side. They're all Trump supporters. So
That's hard.
Yeah,
I
it
can't.
is.
My family.
and the thing is,
I
like,
just
doesn't
don't
have
talk to
that.
them. That's my
yeah, that's what
solution,
I do. I just
ignore 'em.
and the thing is, like, this
Yeah.
uncle on my mom's side, he and I have a really bad history, so we just don't really speak.
Yeah, fuck
It's
that bitch.
difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
have
Fuck him.
we have some family like that who, and the one aunt, a cousin, whatever she is, she said to my mother, "Is Sandy a tree hugger?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Of course, they live in Florida, but excuse my language. I hope will we get demonetized, but anyway,
You can
I
say all
don't.
the
I-
four
Shit,
letter
No, no,
ass,
no, no.
ass
Okay,
fuck,
but
ass fuck,
that was
fuck
like,
in the
am I a
ass.
tree hugger? Yeah, actually, I literally am a tree hugger, John. I
It's
go
like
out.
that South.
I hug
Such an
my trees.
outdated insult. God,
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah.
outdated people,
like a
just like half of the
Simpsons
people in
character would
Congress.
say that.
It's
These
like that.
But
fuckers
they're
are
It's like
old,
that.
expired.
yeah.
We
It
gotta
was a
throw them in
fresh
the garbage.
insult.
It's like
man.
that scene in the South Park movie where they're all saying after
was
they
good.
see the Terrence and Phillip movie and they're like saying the F word. It's like, did you
Yeah.
just say the F word, Jew?
What?
No, he's talking about
So
fuck. You said fucking school, you fucking badass.
yeah,
Just
which is
say
what
fuck again.
because that's what kids do, right? It's like, oh
Yeah.
my
Yes.
gosh, it's naughty. But I
I
do.
I didn't start swearing until I was in the 6th grade. That was like a right when I
Ooh.
grew up. Like until you hit middle school, that's when you could start saying 4-letter words in school, but
I
you
don't
couldn't say them.
remember.
You couldn't.
I
I
do
mean,
like that
growing up
a
small
sliding
town.
scale of curse words you're allowed to say. I like that a lot. Like you can't say "see you next Tuesday" until you're 21, but you can say the F-bomb when you're 16.
I would rather spend more time behind my computer screen and hugging trees. Tinkerbell.
I
Practice.
I'm
So-
such like a reclusive person at times that
Me
like-
too.
Oh God, same.
You wouldn't think so.
I mean, it's kind of what this is why I adapted into my my passion, like why I'm even a streamer in the first place. I mean, a lot of it comes from the fact that I was interested in broadcasting when I was 13 and like it just kind of morphed into trying to get an actual job in journalism, at least in local news, and almost got my foot in the door and then it didn't happen. So I started being part of the leftist community. Everybody was doing a podcast, everyone was doing a Twitch stream. So I just kind of jumped in there 2 years ago and the rest is history.
The
Can I
rest.
But
help
Andrea's
out
been doing-
a future John Ross.
A future.
Yeah, if
future
there's,
John
if there's
Ross?
a young version of you watching right now that wants to
Isn't he
get
the
into
young
it.
version?
Oh, you
Pretty-
mean, well,
pretty.
I'm still quite young. Like I'm 31 in
Yeah,
a
that's
political sense.
Yeah, it's
Well,
over
I'm
the
Yeah.
hill.
old
Foot
in the
the grave.
human
That's
sense.
over the
So-
hill. 30 is the top of the hill.
No, I
Yeah.
mean like if we have a
you're
kid
good,
who
you're
shouldn't
good.
be watching but is like a 14-year-old or something.
If there's a
You're
young
saying
John
if I
Ross
could go-
out there.
If I could go back to my younger self,
No, if
say-
there's someone out there who's basically the young version of you, that's what he's
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
and what would
It
I tell them?
No, I'm saying here's how you get into the industry. You do internship first anywhere you can.
Which is what
and
I
you do
tried
that
to do.
they wouldn't take you there? Then
No.
you go to smaller stations. And that's how you do it. You look up in your state the size of the market and you start with the biggest market you can, and you go smaller and smaller until they take you. And
Mhm.
eventually, if you're lucky, you can wind up like me, eating ramen noodles every night,
I mean,
but
it's
technically employed.
changed. I mean,
without
that's kind
cooking
of
them. I
that's like
like
the
them
basic.
crunchy.
Yeah, me too sometimes. Um, but like that's like the old school simple way of doing it, and that's like while that's
Mhm.
actually really good, it has changed drastically in 25, even more than that years. Like we're
Mhm.
seeing very, very young people get jobs right out of college. You know, it's like either in
Yeah.
college or out of
Gotta pay those
college, and
loans.
they're like in their early 20s getting internships, and then like being a reporter at a local station, and then not soon after, like, getting an anchor job at that same station. Like,
Yeah.
I had it thought out as, okay, if I work in local news, I'm gonna have to come back full circle. I'm, like, low on the totem pole. I'm gonna have to go here, do as much, like, on the ground reporting as possible, and like you said, start at a local station, like, start at a smaller local station, and then come back full circle to that station and be an anchor after having so much experience. But now it's quite, I wanna say quite the opposite, but probably quite different.
Competitive?
Yeah, it's very competitive,
Yeah.
and it's like most people just get the anchor job at a very young age, uh, at just right
Yeah.
off the bat, and
Don't
it
go into that
it's very
industry.
overwhelming.
Truly.
What's up?
In the last job I had in that industry, the person who had
Mhm.
had it before me was
Right.
found under their desk, and this is not an exaggeration, I promise, under their desk in the fetal position, and
Wow.
somebody else was hired to then take over for them as an emergency, and they just didn't show up, and that's how
Mm.
I got the job. I was supposed to work for that
Wow.
person. They just like it's that's how rough the industry is right now. If
Yeah.
anybody is interested in getting into it, I would say do it. Learn how to be a
But that's
reporter,
I
but
mean, that's
then do
television.
what John Ross is doing. Do it for yourself.
I
There's no
mean,
reason
that's
to share
television,
your
but then there's
labor with
also,
them.
like yeah, but
It's
I don't mean to
radio.
cut you off there, Jake, but, like,
Go. No, that's it.
radio
That's
is
all I had.
also radio is also the same way. It's like transitioning from, like, I never had a job in radio, so, like, if you worked in, like, public radio for a couple years and then, like, made a good living at it and then transitioned to doing this, you'd have a little bit of a little bit of, like, shall we say, experience, kinda knowing how to
Yeah.
talk on the mic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I thought at one point I'd be working in radio. Almost did at one point, worked at local
It's
community
the same
radio.
thing. It's
Pro
literally
worker
the
community radio, not
radio is literally
NPR
what you
public
do right
radio.
now.
Yeah, pretty
And
much. That's what streaming
the
is.
only difference is you have to share the product of your labor. Other difference is you
Yeah.
might have you would have a sales team that sells ads for you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Unless you're
And
what
you're
I
pretty
did,
much
in
your
which
own
case you have
boss.
to sell your own ads.
Yeah. And, like, the
By day
positive
I was
about
doing
it
the news. By night I was out
yeah.
going like to supermarkets being like, "And this is for $15, I'll read 30 ads for you."
Nah,
No.
I mean, the upside also is the fact that, like, we're our own boss. I mean, yeah, if we're on YouTube and
Yes.
Twitch, we're like they're owned by Amazon and Google respectively. So, like, we do have to watch what we say or else we get striked. But, like, other than that, we have a lot of editorial freedom, and I say we as in all of us, not just
You're
me.
completely right.
We have a lot of editorial freedom and, well, I don't have to sell my own ass. I don't think so, Emerald.
Oh,
You
you're
don't
looking
you don't
at
have
the
to
chat.
respond. You don't have to respond to all that.
I know. I just like to keep the conversation going. Because I watch a lot of Twitch. I watch a lot of streaming, and I look at people and how they always like look at the comments and then they like respond to it.
Oh, related. Look for my new live Jasmine channel. It's just
but
this,
like,
but
yeah,
I wear
we have a
t-shirts.
lot of editorial freedom
Uh,
as streamers. So we're not
Yeah.
restricted by a lot of rules and regulations. I mean, on occasion, other than the striking. Oh, thanks, Nina. I,
Well,
Um,
yeah, I guess you're right, unless you're one of those people that streams to public radio stations and then they have to watch, you know.
it's like when I do my own Twitch stream, I get nervous that I sound like a public radio person. And I get like right now I'm thinking, am I
Nothing wrong
sounding
with that.
like myself? Because I don't want to sound like public radio. And the sad truth is, before my evolution, before my journey into the left, I used to listen to a lot of public radio, and I don't anymore.
I'm
Like
getting
I
Stevens keep by vibes here.
Stevens, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm just kidding.
But like I don't listen to like I don't have any problem with people who still listen to NPR. It's like it's who am I to judge? I don't do it,
Yeah.
and I turned out
Comparison
just fine.
killer.
I stopped listening to public radio in my I
How about
I'm fine.
PBS? Some of PBS has phenomenal programming, especially on their climate shows. There
Yeah, I
are
mean,
some
I
really good
like
pieces.
Frontline. I will say I
Not
do like
Frontline.
Frontline, but that's about it.
It's the PBS. I don't know what is it,
Andrea's
Nature.
reaction. I can't make out of Andrea's like facial reactions to me talking. Am
She
I
throws
saying
me
it
Just
off.
right?
really high, so I'm just making
Oh.
faces. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I wouldn't try to
No,
read
I
don't
wish
that
I-
worry,
either.
John. You have to
Like,
have thick
well-
skin here, hon. Nobody's
I
making
guess.
faces at you.
No, I know.
I
John,
don't
I promise
wish
you
I-
this.
Andrea
No matter
makes
how
faces all
confused
the
you
time.
are, I am
It's
always
cool.
going to be one shade more. You'll always be at least a little bit ahead of your old pal Jake.
It's a cacophony up
I
in
like
here.
your name, by the way. Your old pal Jake. That's like really cool.
Oh,
I
well,
wish I
thank
was
you.
high with you right now, Andrea. believe it
Check
or
this
not.
out. I have
You take. I have just a question for Andrea. So, do you take edibles by any chance? Is that how you get high, or what do you
dude.
use?
Yes. What?
I do
question
not
answered.
smoke.
Yes.
Smoking
All
is
of
bad
us.
for you. Vaping, I'm not convinced is good. For
I have
you.
a
lot of
serious question
motherfuckers
for
are like,
Andrea.
you ever vape,
Well,
You do
man?"
that's actually true. That's actually true because I have a sister who vapes and she's like smoking because it does make you
It's
smoke.
not
cigarettes.
good for you. You get
It's not-
bubble
yeah.
lung. You could get bubble lung, and I learned that. I didn't know it when I first got
Well,
the
if you're like
medical cannabis.
since Andrea has you're the edible type. Then solidarity. With
Ooh,
you.
Andrea.
If you
Well-
are, if I'm not trying to like put words in your mouth, Andrea.
I like
So- but-
tinctures. I'm a chemist.
There you go.
As you guys know,
Um,
there,
Yeah,
this
me too,
year,
Andrea. Me
2000,
too. Take-
This is.
2024.
I also have to say this is a new haircut, by the way. I actually
it's looking
I went
pretty-
went to the barber and I
Looks
had a full head of
manageable.
hair, and then I just decided
That's
that
what your picture. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just
The Jimmy
decided
the
to go.
Titan tight.
Let's get rid of it.
Same.
let's
Gutsy.
get the like
Yeah,
get
Jake
rid
is
of
what you're
it.
gonna look like in like what 2-3 weeks.
If
Okay.
God is
Pretty
unkind
much,
to you,
pretty much. I mean, that's a fair point, but I think he's rocking the mustache, so I actually like that.
So check it out.
You got like a
2000
70s
2000
style
Yeah,
mustache.
that's
24.
Jake's 70s vibe.
70s vibe.
2024 is going to be a sheer cacophony of political ad
Absolutely.
campaigns and just
Here
Who-
we go.
who
TV
are we gonna-
commercials and whatnot. So I started to look into this thing about because I saw a headline that said there's $10 billion more spending this year than the last presidential election. But the Biden administration, an incumbent, is spending a little less than half of what they spent the first time. So, like, where's all this money going? Because we always hear, like, this is how much they're spending. And I'm like, well, where's it going? Are the prices going up? And in my mind, it was like TV stations and networks were banking off it like they do the Super Bowl, where they sell like ad space at a premium. And that's not the case. What I found was that, like, let's say I'm a car dealer and I buy 50 ad spots on one television station. They are required to give it's a discount. They get a discount for doing that because they're getting so many ad spots. Though that station's required to give a discount to political campaigns at essentially the same rate. So they don't necessarily make a lot of money off of it in one time, not all across the board, and not to super PACs. That's different. They are being like charge a premium. But what I've read so far, and I'm not the expert, so I'm throwing it out there. So just let me say this and I'll throw it out to you guys. My understanding is that they don't get their regular advertising because of all these political campaigns. They don't make top dollar off all the advertising during campaigns. And then they have to like get their advertisers to come back, so they got to cut them deals because they are a little jaded because they're not on as much because all these ad campaigns. And so where is the money going? Is it just consultants and strategists and all that bullshit? Is it just this cottage industry of whoever, maybe it's like whoever owns the network is the dark money that's getting these ads bought and sold, and the money's just going around? What's going on there? Why is the spending on it going up, but there doesn't seem to be a cost increase? And these ads are nothing like
Mhm.
of high production quality that would require millions of dollars. They're just using fucking clips from the last speech that
So
somebody
where's the
did.
money going?
Yeah, or like, yeah, and I mean, why does it keep
Food
going? Why
caterers.
does it keep going up?
Because they have to cater food for everybody.
I
Oh,
want to
I
be
can answer
conspiratorial,
that.
but I throw it out. Okay, Jake, so you were in the industry.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
was the
interested what you
person
think.
Yep.
to whom the sales were made for a while there.
Okay, good.
So, the way we do things, it's like a super lean. It's almost like an MMJ, if you're familiar with that term. We do
No.
all the stuff. We shoot. We're
Multimedia
in front of the
Similar to
camera.
PB and J.
Yes. Yeah, it's essentially It's essentially a sandwich. No, we do all the stuff, and we have a very slimmed down way of doing things. A standard political ad, there's a consultant who takes an insane amount of money from a candidate, and then they take from that insane amount of money wheelbarrows full for themselves, and then they give handfuls to an editor and a camera person, and they do something like what we would put together in 30 seconds. Or in all seriousness, like
do,
what we
yeah,
would put together
exactly.
in an hour, maybe 2 hours.
So when
And
they
as you
say,
say,
folks, we need your money, it's for that.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
really
And
weird.
it's basically to
Cenk
pay a
Uygur vibes.
consultant.
Fucking A.
And then they take of that massive amount of money. I would say maybe, and this is bear in mind, I was in a teeny tiny radio station when I did this, so I was small scale is what I'm saying. They take, I'd say 15 to 20% of that and buy ad space. You know what? I shouldn't give a percentage because I'm sure the bigger the city, the larger percentage that takes up. But the point is, they take a percentage and they buy television station ads and radio station ads, and they blanket an area. But if you want to know where the waste is, it is the political consultant. And the political consultant is essentially a salesman / con artist who convinces the politician that they're the only way to get popular.
Ooh, we got
And
a
there's
good.
a whole lobbying industry around that too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I
I
also
can-
believe they're the reason that the politicking season is now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single year of our lives. Because
Sandy,
the industry
did you-
keeps growing.
I just
Yeah,
need
Want me
I
to read
wanted-
that super chat?
Yeah, Snork's a smart guy. He's brilliant. No, the candidates are required to purchase ad time from approved vendor list. The ad buys are just money funnels. Need to pay attention to who, and I'm sure he's probably going to say who the money, who's directing that. Thank you,
Right.
Snork. That was
Well, I was
yeah.
thinking-
Get
was-
on the approved vendor list. Is
Yeah.
is where
In these
is where you
campaigns.
go.
What garbage. I mean, it's all such
Wow.
garbage.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing that's not corrupt. Well, I mean, we need reform of everything in the United States, and it's not funny, really. I'm not laughing. No, I think I think before all that
understand-
happens, we're going to collapse anyway.
The candidate doesn't do any of that, though, is the point.
No, it's the whole
candidate gives
conglomerate.
Well, no, my point is the candidate
Yeah.
has somebody who works for them,
Mhm.
and they get a massive budget, of which they take a massive cut because that's how their livelihood. And in and of itself, it's not a corrupt thing, but there is very little regulation. I know it sure seems like there's regulation. It's just a lot of folks complaining about very little regulation.
All right.
Let
Well,
me-
here's a
Very little.
question. I have a question. Why is it when there's a campaign war chest, and somebody
I love the
leaves-
fucking terms that they use.
Yeah,
man.
but
we got a
somebody
war
leaves.
chest.
Somebody leaves and gets to take all those millions of dollars and use them for other things. Where is the where are the rules and regs around that? Like a nonprofit. I mean, what
Yeah, they
I
don't
this
owe
and David
anything
Feldman
back.
talks about that. I don't know. I don't
Good question.
understand that.
My whole thing is like when so you get. Let me just play devil's advocate, okay?
All
I
right.
know I'm going to sound naive. I just want opinions on this potential argument that one could make. Is there an aspect of this that is hate the game, not the player, where it's gone on too long now? Voters pay so much attention to what they hear on TV, and it needs to be said a million times before it sinks in that you have to play ball this way. Could Biden go, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the ads. Fuck it. I'll go on TV every night from the White House and do it that way, old school.
He could, but the whole
Yeah,
thing
Would that
needs to
even
be
work?
it just needs
I
to
mean,
be
because right now,
reformed.
Barack Obama's like, hey, guys, we got to donate money. To who? Which consultant, asshole? Who are you telling us to
Yeah.
donate money to?
I got that
It's not
text.
for Biden. Know what I mean?
I keep
So,
seeing
like,
They're
how's that?
literally just begging for donations.
Can
because
I
that's
read
their
you what I
salary.
got?
They're just asking. They're like a streamer, like asking for donations, like that. Please, guys, give me your money so that I
way to
can
put it.
continue to live a lavish lifestyle.
And there's
My
Yeah.
answer is he
volunteers
could,
who
but he wouldn't be
actually do
good at it.
this.
It's like please give like there's I'm just gonna like
He wouldn't be
nameless
good
here.
at it, right?
It's like
It's
telling
like if you
somebody,
asked-
please donate me money on my Patreon so I can get famous. It's just
Okay.
Yeah.
very quickly.
Do you
Well, that part's
remember
real.
when
Definitely give
like
me money on
Floyd
Patreon so I can
Mayweather
get famous.
Yeah.
fought Conor McGregor in like an MMA style match, and
Okay.
I think Mayweather lost pretty handily. It's not that Floyd Mayweather was a bad junior, sorry, was a bad whatever. It's that he was used to being a boxer, and if you're interested in Democrats winning this time around, which God help me, I am, to my chagrin, I wouldn't ask him to try to run a campaign in a new efficient way. He's gonna use that very
no,
inefficient
hypothetical. Yeah.
system. But yeah, I just mean like he's
So
just
it- the-
he spent a lifetime doing it.
So
the
he
old
does
way.
have to do it this way.
I think he does, and I think evil people are going to profit from it, and that's just the deal we've been dealt, the hand
right.
we've been dealt.
You've got to let
Sauce.
me read you this because last week I had read I thought I told you about the campaign text I got from Trump that said you could win a trip to Mar-a-Lago, and
Oh,
I thought
shit.
that was gross. Okay.
Oh fuck!
If you
no,
donated-
send me that text. Forward that to me.
All right, here's Joe Biden here, Sandra. For a limited time, we're offering one lucky supporter and a friend a chance to, now, spend an evening with me, President Obama, and President Clinton. Snap a photo with the three of us, win free flights and hotel stay. So what do you say, chip in $25? Holy shit, we are so fucked.
Yeah, we're in.
That was like
That's worth $25.
25
Imagine
mean,
getting to
to
hang
sit
out
with the
President
three of
Clinton.
them.
Yeah.
Oh,
like ask
God.
him whether his buddy who was his like financier guy who is like apparently hung himself in jail. Like does
Well,
he
Yeah.
ever
I
would
don't-
ask him
I
all
don't know
kinds of
about the
very curious
conspiracies there.
questions.
I
mean, what
remember them.
I would broach the Epstein topic and be like, how
Yeah,
really,
Epstein,
how
but-
So did you
fucking-
really wear that dress?
Yeah.
Like, give me, give me some details.
like
on
broach
that
the
one.
Monica Lewinsky thing? Like, did you really have that semen on your dress? You know, kind of. Did you really leave that semen
Listen,
on
he
Monica
really did it.
Lewinsky's
He was just
it would be-
a guy.
He
And they
was-
are
he was a
men are
philanderer.
just
He was-
can be like that. There's
he was
lots of them.
the
we
most
are
horniest
essentially
president.
animals.
I'm
he-
not
It would be fun to
painting
be
you
like,
all
"Hands
with
up,
the
who
brush.
killed American citizens? Oh, come on, Obama,
Well,
get it up there.
He is like Bill Clinton is the most. I guess he will go down. He will go down in history as one of the most horniest presidents that we've ever had.
Probably.
He
and
will go
he's
down.
competing
He
with
will go down
JFK.
in history as one of the presidents with the zipper problem. Because if you think about it, a decade
I
later,
know.
half of these fucking like mostly Republicans. I'm talking like 2006 mentality. Like half of the Republicans who had power towards the tail end of Bush era all had scandals. And
I don't know.
we were all
Rosalind Carter said Jimmy was pretty randy in the bedroom.
well, he also like
Randy.
he admitted in Playboy of all places that he lusted after
Yeah,
women, other women's
I
wives.
lost
Yeah,
it. I lost it.
Hmm.
Yes, but he said it because he was honest. I mean, he was trying
yeah.
to,
He was supposed.
talk
He was,
about the human condition.
yeah, he was supposed to be the honest president, and
Well,
it
he
got him
wasn't
in
in
trouble. Yeah,
politics. None of it. None of them
he
can
wasn't.
be. You cannot be honest in the political system in the United States. Period.
Yeah,
John Ross, do you
yeah.
garden?
Do I garden? No, I don't. I mean, I
No,
can't. I can't garden because I live in an apartment.
I garden. Oh,
We-
that
you
sucks. I
could
wish
I
I
don't.
had a
And I
community
don't
garden or
have.
something.
And also, I don't have any problem with people who gardens. I know, Sandy, like that's probably your thing.
No, of course.
So I
Yeah,
respect
of
that.
course. I don't know
Well,
a tree hugger.
I
I
live in an apartment. I mean, like there's like a courtyard
You can grow
thing
lettuce
where people
right in
can grow
your kitchen.
plants, but no, I don't
Green
garden.
onions.
It's okay.
I
Well,
love.
I
love your love,
suspected
Andrea.
I suspected that somebody had been adding soil to my garden, and I was right. I don't know who, but the plot thickens.
Ah,
Someone's entering your garden and adding motherfucking soil. Is that correct? Did I
Sandy,
hear that?
It's a dad joke. It just went
a dad
right over.
There's
your
so
head.
many.
No.
dad
Tell
jokes.
me what's going on here.
There's so many dad jokes we could do.
I suspected
had
that
so
somebody
many.
was adding soil to my garden, and I was right. And I don't know who, but the plot thickens.
you're a monster.
Well, do you have any leads?
No, but a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
there's a soil salesman who lives next door.
This could
soil
be him.
salesman.
Yeah,
just-
that
I'm
could
not
be
That's
pointing
him.
what he's trying
fingers.
to do. He's giving you
Yeah,
free
that's
soil.
He has a surplus, and it's gonna go bad.
Soil
I don't know.
salesman.
Fair enough.
May I
You gotta
Like
watch
operation
out for that
Abrams.
guy. Yikes.
May I
soil
ask a
salesman.
That's a shit
question,
job.
Matt?
It can be, depending on what kind you use.
What was your question?
I was just all of a sudden curiously asking Matt, like, what's one person on the left that you haven't interviewed yet that you want to? Because you've
Want
like
to.
almost interviewed.
Yeah.
You've interviewed almost everyone on the left except for me.
Actually, my list is very long of who I haven't.
Oh, really? Like, what's
Who?
like? If you could think of like maybe one person from that list, like right now, who would you interview?
Amy Goodman.
Just anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
I do you want
Is
me to
Matt
give
okay?
you my March lineup that I want to do?
Shoot.
Why not?
Go ahead.
No, I gotta find the. Hold on, I gotta
You
find
don't
the
have that
list.
shit memorized?
It's where is it? Shoot.
How many pairs of I mean, I hope y'all don't mind the questions, but this is a show, so I'm supposed to ask questions. How many
It
pairs
is true.
of
This
sunglasses?
is a show. That's an
many-
observation.
How many pairs of sunglasses do you own, Andrea?
3.
I own
two.
3.
Not what's your best pair? The ones that you went
Yeah.
now.
You're wearing two.
Beau of
I
the
don't
Fifth
know what
Column,
you
Tom
mean.
Hartman, Amy Goodman, Katie Halper. That's who I want in
Katie
March.
Halper.
Hartman.
I'm
I
not
will
gonna
be
get
right
any
back.
of
I
them.
will look for another pair of.
I don't know. Tom Hartman's moderator is in our chat tonight. Who knows?
I actually I
We
have a
should write to
software-
Tom.
They stopped responding to
I have
me.
a
We were
Oh.
right there. We were right there.
wonder
They stopped
why.
responding.
who
Huh.
Tom
I
Hartman.
mean-
I
stopped
found out he's hanging
responding?
out with me.
Tom
'Cause he's-
Hartman stopped responding.
I was so
a
close. Yeah, they were
unicorn.
like, okay, it'll be one of these dates, and
Oh,
then that
he's
was
such a
that.
fascinating
gone.
historian.
wow,
He's
what
so
happened?
so smart.
You should
We
you
should
should
all-
follow. you
I
should
don't know,
follow
I
We
back
should
up
all
with
try to
him.
get an interview, and if you get the interview successfully with Hartman, prank him and just have Matt do the interview.
Well, I
It's a
assumed they
lot
wouldn't.
harder.
I assumed
Connor.
that they wouldn't let me know if there was a personal thing that came up. I think in that case they would just stop replying to me because they're busy
Usually-
otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And like doing an interview is a thing where if it were me, I'd be like, well, I'm not putting myself ahead of everything else I have going on,
Oh, those are awesome.
so I'm not going to
Those are
worry
great.
about it.
Sparkly diamond sunglasses. Those are awesome.
Yeah, those are crazy.
I mean, I will be honest. I
She's
do.
got a
like-
collection.
It's like I lost my train of thought now.
But
No.
Katie
Oh, come
Halper would
on.
be one. I want Katie Halper to come on the show, talking to her.
From some more
yeah.
news.
No,
Say Katie Halper. Oh,
No.
That-
that's I've invited them a few times. They don't even look at the. I'm sure they're not even looking at the email. So I invited someone. Let me see if they got back to me.
How did
I invited somebody that is not a media figure. They're a cartoonist who was recommended to me, or recommended I interview by someone in the audience, and they haven't got
Those
back
are
yet.
really
But that's
petty.
okay.
That's so
And if
weird.
I get them, for me, it would be because they said you should interview this person. I was like, that'll never happen.
I just wanted to ask
Get 'em.
Andrea again. Is Maxie around? Is Max the dog
We
around?
always want to see Max.
I-
Yeah,
Oh, give that baby some love.
we love Max.
He's a good fellow.
Give some love to Maxie.
He's wearing the.
How long
the
have you
thing
had
again.
him? This is my
3
curiosity.
years.
3 years.
3.5.
How old was he when you got him?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Matching sweaters.
you got him from
Love this drawing.
obviously from an animal shelter.
No, some fucking freak just dumped him on the family.
Oh my god,
So-
that is terrible. I mean, well, it's good to know that you took care of him. You literally like adopted him. He's like your significant other. He's like your what do you call it? A security animal. Everyone needs one of those, believe it or not.
My partner. in
Yeah, I got
crime.
7 of them.
Oh,
Speaking of gardening, do you know why people were so excited when the shovel was invented?
I don't know.
how
why.
come?
It was groundbreaking.
Yeah,
for
I
its
thought
time.
that was gonna.
Aw,
I thought that
First
was.
time.
Yeah, the shovel was pretty good. Like, I don't know.
It's
could
a
you
big
imagine
deal when it
digging a
happened.
pile
With
before
the
the shovel,
stupid
like it
thing.
would take
People
a
were
long
like,
time.
"My hands, thank you." Right?
Oh.
Max, you're famous.
Max is
You're famous.
wonderful.
You're on the TV. Look, that's you. That's you. Holy
Max.
shit, you're famous.
It's like, let's
So
go
it's
outside
like,
and
he's
play
like, yeah,
with
but
this
do you see
ball.
his ball?
Oh.
You can look at it. You can't touch
Priorities.
it, but look, I'm wearing a hoodie.
Like my podcast, my leftist podcast list has gone slightly down the last few years.
Oh, really? Do you need some
Yeah.
recommendation? Are you listening to Black Power Media, the morning
I
remix
have never
show
heard of
every morning? Oh my
What-
gosh!
What's the show called? You cut out for a minute. You
Black
said Black
Power
Power
Media.
and then you said Good Morning something.
Every morning they have the morning remix
Oh.
show, but it is an actual. I mean, there are so many different hosts doing so many different shows. Check 'em out.
I will give him a check out.
I
Yeah,
interviewed Dr. Jared Ball last week. He
Yeah, he
is
was-
one of
I
the
saw that.
founding members.
He was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was really great.
Mhm.
I mean, there's probably like one leftist
Stick around.
YouTube show that here in Kansas City. Matt interviewed them recently, so he knows what I'm talking about. So
The Vanguard.
yeah,
The Vanguard, the young kids.
Did you
yeah, they were
finally
good.
do that? I missed this.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea.
I'm sorry.
yeah, they were pretty. Yeah,
Was it good? Did it go
yeah,
well?
Was it good?
great. It was great. I actually like. I'm on like
I took it down. It was terrible.
Snapchat.
Did you
Snapchat,
really?
no, it's still up there, Andrew. You didn't. You could go back and watch it.
Fucking awesome.
was
I drew two
amazing.
people in one interview. What are you kidding me? It was awesome.
I gotta watch.
I
this.
gave my regards to Gavin, so he and I are on good Snapchat communication.
Oh yeah, right on. Yeah, cool.
Yes. We have yet to hang out. in
right
person.
on, this motherfucker.
I think
Can't
that
lose it. I love it.
I
What do you think?
for me, I am trying to go after lesser known or
Smaller-
leftist shows
smaller
and
streamers.
independent media shows that are maybe not just starting out, but if I'm just hearing about them, I'm all over it. Know what I mean? If I hear about them for the first time,
Yeah.
I go for it. And I don't care if they have 1,000 or 30,000 subs. That doesn't matter to me.
But
if
if
I'm
they
just
have
hearing about them,
500, fuck
I'm
them.
going
You
for it.
don't give a shit. You throw them away like
My-
fucking garbage.
my point is they're monetized at 1,000. But
I'm not.
I'm gonna have a buddy of mine who I only know virtually, but we've been associating for years. He owns a place called, ready? Muffin but Good Vibes.
Was it a
It's
muffin
a
shop?
yeah. And they sponsor a lot of local music. And everyone go to
Alright.
their YouTube now, Muffin but Good Vibes on YouTube, and
Everybody
try
in chat,
and subscribe. They're trying to get to 1,000. Subscribe to them.
everybody in chat, go check this out.
Muffin but Good Vibes. Craig McKnight. This guy has done
Since we're appreciating Looney Tune,
charities
900
like
Yeah.
67.
Looney Tunes.
Oh,
he's done a
Looney
lot of
Tunes-
charities
really
over there.
cool
Looney
idea.
Tunes is
And
on it.
really,
They're really cool.
Looney
and
Tunes
they
is on
have
it. Hey,
excellent
Cat.
camera work, at least for their intro.
Yeah, and their
Yeah.
merch is great. I have a muffin surfing on a t-shirt.
I just
It's
also
so
want.
cool.
I actually kind of look in the chat. I just want to shout out hi to Fighting Gale and Soul Life and B
Oh,
Cat
yeah.
K, who are friends,
Yeah.
who are all
they're
mutual
all
friends of mine, of ours. And Fighting Gale
wonderful
is a former TYT ex TYT moderator, I should
Mhm.
say. So
Yeah.
is in the chat. So if she sees
She
this,
was there.
what's up, Fight? What's up, V?
Put up this comment by Resist Impulse, because this is something we need to talk about. This is some fucked up shit I've been saying for years
By
on
who?
this guy. Resist Impulse in the just put their. You don't have to read it first. Just click it.
No, I was replying to somebody else. This?
Well, there's another one. There's a sequel.
No, okay, but this isn't true.
Well, that's very true, but the sequel is
I just
more
promoted somebody that's not monetized yet.
The
I'm
sequel.
honestly
You gotta.
not
there's
surprised yet.
more here. I'll read it
still
out
waiting
because this
for my
is.
money.
Yeah,
Monetization.
where? I'm not seeing it.
No, wait. That
I'm
was the
blinded by
post.
the insult.
That was the post. I remembered it being 2 lines, so I didn't read it the time you put it on screen. But it's
I'm honestly
true.
not.
It's true.
not
Name
true. That's
one.
silly.
Name
Adrian Vixen.
one
Yeah,
interview.
she's a
John Ross. John, are you monetized on YouTube?
no. I'm not.
Welcome
not
to the
yet.
show,
Oh.
John.
I am not monetized. I am still.
Oh fuck! Resist Impulse. I think you got it all wrong, buddy.
2 for 2.
No, I
What do you
don't
mean?
care about
What's
that
going
shit.
on? Hold on, I'm gonna bust his balls for a minute. It was
Uh-oh.
your comment. You're acting as high as I am. It was
See?
your comment.
So
Oh
so the
yeah,
fact that
resist impulse.
I'm not yet monetized. That makes me a
Yeah, this is charity
It doesn't
work.
though. That's what we're saying
All
is it doesn't.
Okay,
You
but I love
interviewed me
charity.
before I was monetized. Thank you.
yeah. That
We-
was a few years ago.
That's right.
It's called Solidarity.
Yeah.
There's
like
been like a
100
side
interviews.
project with WYCD where we try to get people who deserve to be monetized as quickly as possible. And it's
Yeah.
working pretty good so far.
No, they talked me into it,
It's a-
and I hadn't been monetized for 7 years, and I didn't want to. I thought it was a sellout. You know what I like?
It is
The-
a sellout. You are a sellout, and so are we.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
up,
but
man?
I thought for me, in my, not you guys, not anybody, I didn't judge anybody else. I felt for me because I talk about how bad the system is, and,
And
now I'm
now
in the
you
system.
take money from the
But
system.
guess
Good
what?
job.
You know what I really like, Andrea? I like the members only stuff, you know, and I want to do what Matt does with having little members only streams. I've been making little videos and things, and I think it's sweet. And you can't do that on Buy Me a Coffee, which is my the other thing that I had.
Yeah.
So, and it's cute, and I don't make anything much. It just is for the channel, the expenses. I am on, you know, I'm disabled
that's
also,
true.
John. I'm
What's up?
disabled. I had to stop working because of my back disabilities and something else that's been going on. So I understand it. It's very hard to live within
I
the
She committed
system
murder.
like
yeah.
this.
I tried working. This is like 10 years, almost 10 years ago, and I actually had one job working as a back waiter. And as a person who is autistic with cerebral palsy, it does take a toll on you physically and
It
mentally
has
and also
to.
financially. So it's like I lasted 5 months before I had like a mental breakdown on the
Oh,
job.
sweetheart. Well, cerebral
Yeah.
palsy is not easy to live with.
It's not.
And I
I
give
had
you a lot of I wish I had the applause button for you know, even
well,
being
thank you.
here.
Thank you. Well, I had surgery about 22 years ago to correct my walk, so I was 10.
Did it work?
So yeah, it did.
Good.
If not,
That's
I'd be in
great.
a. I mean, I'd be in a wheelchair, apparently, hypothetical, for what I was
Right.
told.
But and you're not, and that's the best part. You've overcome a lot of obstacles.
Yeah, but it's not enough for older authority figures to use my disability as an excuse against me. Yeah, like I did not know that there was a term called ableism until recently. And now that I do know, uh it's I've had to actually look back at times in my life and realize that there was a little bit of ableism going on, or maybe even a lot of ableism going on against me by either authority figures in my
Mhm.
life or certain family members. I mean, I've grown as a person, I hope. I mean, I'm 31. I've lived on this earth for 32 years almost, and uh I've had to overcome, like you
Over
said,
the
a
hill.
lot of obstacles,
Mm.
and it's not always good, but hey, I do what I love, and this right here is like my passion. Streaming on YouTube, being a podcaster, it's for me, it's not all about quote unquote trying to make money and get famous, as somebody who I know in the social media world who is a TYT simp is trying to do.
None
Um
of us here.
Nobody here is that, which I'm happy. But for me, it's all about just putting my voice out there, because I too have listened and watched and learned and been a part of these organizations, and I've seen how they work. I've
Mhm.
seen and been told how TYT works. They
Mm.
do not practice what they preach. They make
Wow.
promises that they do not keep. Jank and Anna are fake liberal allies, as Andrea would say.
Wow.
That sounds like something I would
So,
say.
They've still got
well,
a
that's what
big
you said this
following.
summer. You called them useless. You called them useless liberal allies, but you were on point. I mean, you were correct.
Hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, like, and as somebody who watched TYT, I will admit, when I was a sophomore in high school and thought they were the best thing in the world, now that I've been there, I have a different perspective now.
I
Yeah.
mean, brother,
And
man,
now
you're
I'm working
31.
on
When
what's
you
up?
were in high school,
You're
they
a baby.
basically were the best thing in the world.
Well,
Sucks.
I thought
We didn't have a lot of
well,
options.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
I
and the
mean,
Daily Show, basically.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can't fault
sure.
yourself for that. I mean, they were credible at one point.
Yeah.
And
But I
we'll,
was also,
based on
I
what you
mean,
think now.
I mean, what I think now is that they're just fucking fakes. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing that bothers me with like a lot of these lefty podcast people. Like a lot of them, like even people I like and support, all they do is just take super chat questions. They don't they don't balance the beam, so to speak, where it's
Mm.
like you take super chat and non super chat questions. I think the non super chat questions deserve to be heard as much as the next person.
Right.
I
It's
agree.
been doing
easier
it
to
all
just
night.
I
take the
struggle with
money and
that.
let YouTube do the filtering for you instead of dedicating like an hour to like Q&A
Lazy.
gathering.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
like if
why I love the YouTube ad system. And I personally, as a lefty
That's a
channel, I
first.
love the idea. Oh,
I
yeah.
love
didn't
the
see that
YouTube ad system,
Love it.
guys. Oh
Love it.
yeah.
And as a lefty, especially because if somebody tells me like, oh, what the hell, there was an ad for Black Rifle Coffee or whatever playing, I'm like, good, fuck them. They paid for that. There's no way they sold you guys
Oh, I
coffee
see.
because you
Yeah.
guys know what it is. Let's fleece these nerds for as much as we can. Yeah, have some rich d-bag pay for lefty content.
Does
Beautiful.
anyone want to get together and do a Left Past 10 YouTube commercial? We all pitch in like $5.
Yes,
I could
I
try.
would so do that.
I could try.
Put that line in it too.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone
I love
write it down. I don't know how effective that is. Like,
Well, you
listen,
probably
what's-
get a discount if the ad says, "This is why I like the YouTube ad system." I think right away they give you 50%
Yeah.
off.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
used to boost Facebook lives every now and then back in the day. I boosted the
was
ones that
effective.
were Well, it was because I got the message out about fighting the Northern Access Pipeline at the time, and I had the money to do it. I wasn't
Good on you.
I wasn't financial. I wasn't uh well, as bad as I am now, but it was a very important issue, so I would boost those. And people all over the world. When we
Yeah.
won, I'll never forget the live stream I did. 40,000 people, and it was unreal because they were coming off the fight of Standing Rock, and so this Northern Access, to see a little community in bumfuck Western New York, hey. So but that was a long time ago. I wouldn't do that now.
Small
Yeah.
world. Once upon a time, I was paid to report on your activities, Sandy. I love it.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
I get a chance to say
Wow.
this. I never thought I would. I respect the hell out of what you did. Thank you.
Aw.
Seeing as
Aw.
this is like my first, yeah, that's awesome, Sandy. So like seeing this is like my first time, meeting Jake and Sandy, in person, so to speak. How long have you guys been streaming?
Well, I started in 2000, and I guess it was my first live stream ever was, I believe it was 2015. I didn't even know what a live stream was. And I got
Mhm.
mixed up with Real Progressives. So that's where I started, with Real Progressives.
And Jake, what
RP.
about you?
That's what the confusion was earlier. I've been streaming for about 1 year. I
And
have an interesting
Andrew,
story.
I
But
think
you were a
guys,
news guy,
Yeah, well, yeah,
a real one.
news industry.
so you got
for-
your
I was in
start
the news industry for
actual
7 years before that.
A
the
real
news
news
business.
guy.
Well, in a station with a paycheck.
I was a
That's
I
true.
was a corporate
You know?
stooge for 7 years.
Okay.
Doing supermarket commercials.
Yeah.
Hey, apple juice is fucking 30% off. Get over here.
Boy, real low rent shit. Let me tell you.
That does
Let me
sound
tell
fun,
you.
though. I'm not gonna lie.
And
It was
Andre,
fun, and it was also insane because
I
you
bet.
cannot. I was the only news person at the station, and when I got into the job, I was not. I should have been, but I was not aware that I would also be a salesman. And
Mhm.
like when I replay in my head the conversations I had with the hiring manager that got me to go, I should have picked up on what they were saying. But it's really unethical. It's super unethical to be the sales guy and doing the news. But it's if I didn't do it, there would be no show, and I had moved already, so that's what I did.
Right.
Right.
Fortunately, there was no supermarket scandal that I had to report on. So,
Well, that's good. Because otherwise, you would
in-
have sided with the supermarket, obviously.
oh yeah, F you guys,
Yeah.
I would have lied for him. No,
The tabloid, the New Inquirer, the National Enquirer type people. And like Andrea, you've if correct me if I'm wrong, you've been streaming since 2000, at least since 2009. Somewhere
I've been on
around there?
YouTube since 2009, but streaming
Yeah,
wasn't a thing
As a
back then.
kid.
Right.
But
Um,
yeah, I started streaming in like early 2012ish, late 2011 maybe.
And like, what was that first like? What was the first kind of like? I guess you could say streaming now, but like, what was that first moment like? Was it something like, "Hey, this is what I want to like"? I kind of found what I want to do with my life, kind of thing, or was this like more of like a passion, like a hobby thing, kind of?
I mean, it was one of the only options I had. I was very sick as a kid, so I was just home all
Mhm.
day. And then eventually I got a computer, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do YouTube videos.
Mhm.
And then eventually, like, it was like 5 or 6 years later where it became a job. So,
Yeah.
Then you
You
were
like-
streaming games?
oh
Playing
yeah.
games, right? Yeah, you
Big
were a
time.
gamer. I
Do
didn't
you-
understand any of it. I missed the boat.
So you're like obviously because I've
Cacophony.
watched your channels, like you're a Doom speedrunner, which is pretty based in my opinion. I actually have a soft spot for
is.
Doom. But do you like just play
Jeez.
Doom games or do you do other games?
Andrea
Or other
doesn't need
games?
the ego boost. Believe me.
Oh, well, I've done many games throughout my tenure, but Doom is the only one I do now because it's The other ones I don't like to maintain.
Right.
But some notable ones that I used to speedrun would be Resident Evil 4. I used to have the record in that. Several
Mhm.
Mega Man games. My favorite
I
is
love
Mega
that.
Man X6. I've played that game many thousands of times. And yeah, those are the only ones I really care about too much. But yeah, I
And
mean, I
you're
played a lot of other games.
you played like I saw it recently. You played like a Muppet racing game as a
Oh
speedrun.
yeah, that is a game I used to play as a kid, and I started speedrunning that game in 2013. I don't play it
Cool.
much anymore, but apparently now it's got a thriving community, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm
I
ex-
am
As Andrea knows,
fascinated
I'm
by how
obsessed
you guys could
with some
spend the
of these old
time. You know
videos.
how y'all spend the time on games. I am fascinated. I can't
Oh,
imagine.
I'm
I don't have
obsessed.
time.
I've
I
been
I, I
playing.
have. I couldn't even
uh,
imagine it.
I've been playing video
You gotta
games
make
since I
time.
was 6 years old, and I think doing this as well, like streaming, I've found my love for that again.
Hmm.
And so, like, I don't know if I'm necessarily gonna do like a speed run yet, because I'm still finding my foot in the gaming industry, in the gaming streaming community. But like lately, it's just been a lot of Mario, a lot of Zelda. I do have a copy of Doom that I play for leisure and for game streaming.
You gotta play my levels, and then you get to advertise
I
that
played 'em.
they're yeah,
He did.
and then you get to come
I'm
on the show and talk about it.
I played
I
a
am
Doom wad.
I'm taking my time.
I really snark.
But I hope I get there at some point.
Oh yeah,
You
let
know,
me know if you have any issues or qualms with
Absolutely.
the softwares.
I still
Absolutely.
don't really get video. There's a lot of things I don't get. Like I was at the
This
beach
motherfucker,
last
look at this
summer.
guy's background with his fucking like art and his fucking comic books. I don't really get video games, man.
But like I was at there's a lot of things in life I don't really understand, but like ask a lot of questions. I want to learn. I was at the beach last summer and this guy was putting sunscreen on a banana and I was like, "The fuck are you doing?" He goes, "I don't want its appeal."
it's a really that's
But
a really good
So you
point.
got to ask or
Dad
you'll never
jokes.
learn why people do things.
That's
Yeah,
I've
we're
never
an
thought
hour
about
and a
it
half.
that way.
It's time
Let-
for
let
the
me-
dad jokes.
Let me jump on that then, Matt. I just realized in the course of this conversation, I don't know why. I know when you started a YouTube channel. I don't know why. There's nothing about your career trajectory which to me leads to YouTube, and yet it did, and I'm delighted that it did. What was your reasoning behind starting up a channel?
I thought it was a natural evolution of what I was already doing with art, drawing, being the quote unquote cartoonist for the left, to
Yeah.
start doing it live. And I always kind of had the inkling to do it, I always kind of had an itch. And then I
Mhm.
moved to the South and I'm in the middle of nowhere and it's pretty remote. And I was like, I had left, a place I lived for over 20 years and people referred to me jokingly as the mayor of that town because I could, it's one of those situations you could walk into any bar and just know people, right? And so then I went to zero.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I know people virtually.
Yeah.
So if I start streaming, then I can start connecting. And that's why I'm always so grateful. Like, Jake, I complained to you about YouTube how like I got 8 new subscriptions Saturday and I've lost 6 subscriptions since yesterday. And it drives me nuts.
Don't
Where
look
are you
at all
going?
that.
It
Don't
makes
look
me
at it.
nuts. But
Driving.
I'm
I remember
so
when I first looked at the lost subscriptions
I don't
number.
look at any
well,
of
it's
it.
something I just noticed where I'm like, what happened? But
It's
so
a
anyway, it's like 5 a week and then I'll get 8 more and it's too back and forth. But like what I'm grateful for is the community and being able to go live and everyone's there or like a handful of people there and then there's new people. And when I first started, the same like 12 people would show up every time and that grew and grew. And it was like, oh man, I'm connected still. I'm not lost out here.
Right.
The world's not so big that I'm going to get lost like that.
It's
That's
It's
why I
probably
started it.
awesome.
It's an
It's
amazing
probably the
thing to be
algorithm.
multi-talented.
Yeah,
Well, but
it's-
and then I don't do anything without letting it evolve. And we've talked about this. Like in hindsight, it seems like a plan where maybe the people I've been drawing for the last 4 or 5 years, I can invite on the show and interview them, and they all said yes, and they still do, and so that works. So it's like, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, maybe I'll go on camera. Then you got to figure out the tech, and then when you get up and running there, you can invite people on. And so anyway, it's like I'm already thinking about the next evolution. I don't know when that goes into play, but there's no deadlines here, So
the art aspect to your channel, I think, is certainly
Great.
the way it
Yeah.
should be. If I were pitching it as an I don't know, if I had been called in to say how should this be advertised, I would emphasize the art aspect, but it shouldn't be understated. And by the way, it makes sense given your professional background, but it cannot be overstated to say what a fantastic interviewer you are. They are some
Yeah.
of the
Thanks.
some of the best interviews
They
I
are.
have heard
Yeah.
with these folks.
I've
Well, I
learned
used- I
so
used to-
much.
I used to call bingo professionally, so I have a rapport naturally with crowds.
I guess, yeah.
No, I really
Oh.
appreciate that. Thank you, because I
It's
work a
true.
little too hard on the interview behind the scenes, but yeah, I appreciate that.
No,
Thanks.
it paid off.
I
It
played
paid off.
bingo recently and I lost. So
in a
Oh.
where
You
Where'd
went
you play?
out? You did
No, I
not.
didn't
You
leave
went
the
virtually.
house.
No, I didn't
it
think
was
so.
an online version of bingo, and I lost.
Guys,
So
I forgot I made bingo
How much did you
cards
lose to?
for the
What
show.
bingo
I
cards?
lost by a
For
lot.
left past 10?
Oh wow.
Yes.
When? Like
Son
weeks
of a-
ago? Yesterday?
Yes. The audience
Ah,
gave
dude.
a bunch of suggestions, and I forgot until this moment to share it with anybody. Oh no!
Ah.
All right.
Well,
Well,
there's
a
next
website.
week.
I'll give it in the Discord. There's a website where you can do that, and I
Wait,
took
there's Discord?
audience suggestions from this gang, and made bingo cards. We gotta distribute those so you can play bingo.
There's a Discord. Like, is there like an official Left Past 10 Discord?
No, we
Oh.
all have
No,
our
we
own.
just direct
But
message sometimes.
Brett was showing this video in our Discord chat live room or whatever it is. Discord's wild.
If y'all
It
have
is.
your own, I mean,
I
I'm
truly
I'm
don't
on,
understand it.
I'm learning it.
I'm on Letterhacks and Andrew's Discords. But if
I
Jake,
deleted my
you and-
Discord.
yeah, I saw that. There's a person that I know who said, yeah, your Discord's been deleted. I mean, it's still there physically, but just not like as it used to be.
Ours is busy. Busy.
There are
But if y'all
3
have your own
people in my
Discords,
Discord.
I'd like to.
I'm going to invite
be a part
Wireless
of it.
Mike. John, you're welcome. If anybody
It is-
else
it is what you
gets
make
in,
it.
though, I will truly not be able to keep track of it.
It would be interesting to have a
limited
left
capacity.
past 10. Yeah,
I
no,
like-
I stopped
we're all
keeping track
busy.
of
Don't
it,
ask
and
me
then
to
I
do
just
stuff.
get DMs from people that are fighting in the Discord, and I don't even care about any of it. So that's why I shut it down.
I try to avoid fighting in the Discord. I mean, I don't fight in the Discord,
We
but I
don't.
like seeing the fights. But I'm probably the one person in like the leftist Twitter spaces that tries not to start any fights or feuds on the left, with one exception. And that's Ben Burgess. Which long story. I mean,
Fair enough.
Andrea and
I don't
like,
fight with
we've
anybody.
had our discussions about him, about the Burge, and he blocked me on Twitter.
He
because
still
I told-
follows me, which is like, and it's like a passive aggressive follow, and I
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah, but he got like because he kept defending Anna Kasparian, and I tried to be try to be reasonable with him.
It's white knighting.
And yeah,
even.
and then he
Yeah.
just wouldn't stop, and I was just like,
White
dude,
knighting.
Nobody,
like,
she can
dude,
defend
stop.
herself. Come on.
Famously good
blocked
at
me.
debating, also.
She's all but welcoming people to pile on so that she can fight back. I mean, come on, it's Anna Kasparian. No one needs to step in on her behalf and
Mhm.
defend. I mean, my
Yeah,
God,
because she's
do
got
we not know who we're
a
talking about?
show. She's got a show on there,
Well, I'm
and
saying, like-
controversy sells.
Her reputation for being someone to reckon with hasn't gone anywhere.
Oh,
I don't care if you agree with her or not. She's still a forceful person. You know what I mean? It's not like Hey, I need to step in and help her out. No, you don't. It's one of the most powerful, loudest um
I'll
voices
say it.
out there. I mean, it just
Bitches
is.
on the internet webs.
I'm yeah, I mean, I'll just
I
say it
could
again.
say it because I
whether
could talk to her right to the face.
well,
like
but
that.
that's I was looking for the word voices just for the record, but I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't
I can.
trying to not say that, but I do think that, like, agree with her or not, she's tough. I mean, she's a fierce
she's tough.
debater. It's not
Uh-huh.
she could be totally wrong about something. She doesn't need someone to white knight her, for God's sake.
I would never say anything like that. I
She's
just want to
tough.
say for the record, I do not agree with the letter hack. Ben Burgess is a stand-up fellow. I don't know anything about this.
Didn't you have him on, Andrea?
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
come
know anything
on.
about this.
I
He
saw
seems like a
it.
fine guy. I don't know why Letterhack just had this outburst, but
I don't know why
There's
You
no
know,
for
he
anyone.
I
for
know who else
anyone.
Andrea
There's no
had
need
on
for
there.
anyone.
He deserves the criticism though that he's getting from people.
A lot
We-
of
we started-
people will talk about how white knighting is like bad, and then their associates go out and do it, and it's like, so wait a minute, is this part of their journalism? What? Or no, this is totally, you're just being on fucking Twitter. I hate it. I'm sorry, Jake. What were you saying?
No, I was just laughing at the fact that we've all developed a pastime of occasionally thrusting each other into a really awkward position. It's I love it.
It's just
What am
it's
I-
part of
what am
I wasn't going to say the B
do
word. I wasn't going to call anybody the B
I
word.
said it. I'm sorry, but you see, when you're
But
a
you keep
woman,
saying I
there's certain-
said it as in
It's
I said
part
it
of
on
the
your
territory.
behalf, and I
No,
wasn't
I'm
gonna
saying
say
it on my own behalf.
what are we saying?
I wasn't
Not
gonna-
on
Word?
your behalf.
Bastard, bitch, buddy.
Bruh.
Which one?
I'm
Bruh.
also old enough to use the
call it the
term
B word.
bitch slap.
That's
We're
a
like
good
it's just
term.
part of the territory though.
One time I did a Majority
Yeah,
Report
John, you're right.
Christmas, War on Christmas comic for the Majority Report, and I had Jamie Peck saying Mary's C word, Sam Cedar, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "No, I mean Christmas.
Yeah, Mary.
The fuck are you guys talking about?
That was
Like
crazy.
that took a
Oh.
dark turn."
Oh, God. That is one of the few people I find myself wanting to interview. Incidentally, I lost
Tried
my
to have
taste
her
for
on, too.
interviews until recently, and when I think of again starting them up, Jamie Peck would be top of my list. Her work with
Cool.
her,
I hope
So
you
smart.
do.
She is, dude, Sandy. She's so hardcore. She's like camped out or was camped out at the Cop City protests
Wow.
for like
Yeah.
weeks.
You should have that person on. She sounds
Oh, if I
awesome.
can. The balls on this gal, man.
The balls.
I'm impressed.
Ooh,
I'm
boy.
impressed.
All right. There's somebody in my chat I want to have back on. Kevin Hester. Yes, yes, yes. He's in the chat. Hi, Kev. Okay, sorry. Hi. He's from New
Who are
Zealand.
we,
Hello, Kevin.
There's one more thing I want to say about this medium. You're connected with the world, which you can't be any other way like
Yeah.
Yeah.
this. And Kevin's from New Zealand, and I'm looking at, I see in my chat, everybody's from all over. There's Canadians, there's everybody. It's just that's what I
There's
love.
Midwesterners.
Yeah, I
Kevin,
just
can
love
you believe
everybody
it?
from Kevin. He's
Let
been
me
on my show a
shamelessly
long time ago.
advertise then for my show tomorrow. Kevin, tomorrow I am going to be featuring a segment that looks at content from Paul, the other one, a New Zealand streamer, talking about the most insidious and destructive form of racism in New Zealand. It'll be a
Ooh.
bummer, but it will be content featuring Kiwis. Stop by, my friend.
All
Awesome.
right.
That sounds
Well,
good.
that
Just
sounds
had
like
that ready
Yeah,
to go.
Kevin Hester is amazing.
Yeah. I'll have
I
to
want to
check
go
him
get some
out.
apple juice now. God damn.
And the
I'll have
last
to
time I
check him out.
interviewed him, I had the worst internet on the planet, and he looked like a pixelated, like it wasn't on purpose. So
Is
so-
that you? Is that
Yeah.
you though, or is that their connection?
no, it was mine at the time. It was terrible. I out. It was way before we had the broadband, the rural broadband grant that we got out here. It was just cellular. I had nothing. And then I had got a Wii Boost on my house, and that was a little better, but it was just terrible out here,
Resistant Paul's got it.
really bad.
It happens,
Next
man.
time-
Lord
next
knows
time.
sympathize.
Yeah.
Next question.
Oh,
Yes,
go ahead.
John.
Next subject. Who
All
who
right.
are we who are we still mourning that who passed away in 2024? Or
Norman
I think maybe
2024?
I'm still
it
mourning
wasn't
Paul. Well, I'm
wasn't
still
last year.
mourning Paul Rubens. I was a huge Pee Wee Herman
Oh.
fan.
Carl
2023,
Weathers
yeah.
died recently.
Carl
That's
Carl
right.
Weathers.
I'd forgotten. That was
Melanie.
badass.
Melanie.
I watched Action Jackson. God
But
damn.
I'm
Oh,
still
that's such a-
mourning.
that's good.
I will go to town because I'm still
Paul
mourning
Rubens?
Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I would
will-
spend hours just watching him tell stories as Paul Rubens, just tell random
Yeah.
stories. He is one, and there's one at a Comic-Con where he's just in front of this crowd and he goes, he's telling a story and he has so many side stories. He goes, hold on, just real quick. I'll wrap it up in a minute. And he keeps doing that for like an hour. It was, and he was on Letterman talking about how some random person invited him over for dinner, and when he got there, everyone had already eaten, and it was like they all invited friends, and so they were just sitting there watching him eat, and he goes, and they were just like watching the fork from the plate to my mouth and back. It's just the funniest fucking thing, man. He is the best.
yeah, I miss
Talented
him.
guy.
I miss Pee Wee Herman.
Aw.
I
No,
was
re-
he was a
uh,
childhood fan for me. Like I watched the Pee Wee Herman. I had on cassette VHS the Pee Wee Herman show, which was like his like comedy HBO comedy special before he did the Big Adventure movie and before he did the Playhouse. And
Mm.
The
that
luckiest
was
boy in the
more
world.
exactly where he wanted to fly, and it was like more adult oriented than the kid related stuff he would do later. And it's like
Yeah.
the best thing. I'm sure you could still find it. It's like
I'd
on
like to.
DVD, which you're probably gonna end up buying it secondhand because DVDs are going out of style. If you've not heard that news story that like retail stores like Best Buy are no longer going to stock DVDs starting this year because
I have all the ones I need.
like streaming the streaming medium has overtaken physical media, and for me, in my opinion, it's probably the worst thing because that old school way of like having something physically to hold on to and to watch repeatedly is what we all grew up on. And
If
to have
there's-
that taken away from us is just like taking away a part of our, how we grew up, and
all right, I want to comment on that. I do have to tie up this other thing. Resist Impulse says, "Do we mourn Chandler from Friends?" I think you mean Benny from The Tops, and absolutely, yes, sir.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But the one, I agree with you. I like the idea of physical ownership, or at least you permanently own a copy of yada yada yada. I do
Mhm.
think hard drives are going to replace that. Like I think people are going to have hard
Mhm.
drives in their homes, and there's just going to be like, oh, here's 50 movies, and it's like labeled with like masking tape or whatever.
Mhm.
If there's any upside, though, I think it's going to be that piracy is going to just skyrocket because
Oh,
so
yeah.
many people are going to do that. Just
Oh.
like,
You remember
oh,
those
right now, if I
ads?
wanted, I could record this live. As I watch this movie, I can record it on my OBS system, which is free.
Mhm.
Save that to a hard drive. Now I've got it forever.
Mhm.
They've added like anti-screen capture software.
Do you remember
can
those?
try.
Speaking of that,
Well,
like,
just
you
try
remember
it.
those,
Try it
like,
right now.
those anti-piracy disclaimers you would see on before every movie, or like the
Yes.
commercial that you would hear, like you.
I love
wouldn't
that they
steal a
put that in
purse.
movies that we already bought. Like, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
bought this movie. Like, I already know that, you idiot.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
some irony. First time I saw one of those in a theater was before Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, oh, you're talking to the wrong crowd.
We're pro pirate.
Yeah, we're very pro pirate here. And cursed
I
gold.
imagine, like, in terms of like us going on, like, speaking of like movies on hard drives, we could have like maybe microchip, like USB movies kind of thing, where you could
Yeah.
just like
Dongle,
slot it in the hard
dongle.
drive.
I should remind everyone it's 11:45 p.m. on the East
Wow.
Coast. We've been on air for an hour and 45 minutes. If anyone wants to pull a Jake's it, feel free.
I
Leave at
want
any
to
time.
stay on as long as possible.
Jake, did you catch that we dubbed your exit Jake's it?
Jake's it.
Jake's it.
Now, what is a Jake?
The way, yeah,
Oh,
I told you
he did it
every fucking time.
This
Yeah.
fucking
See,
guy.
Jo-
Now
John,
he's just gonna
though,
be in the chat
we
room
leave-
and just
yeah,
like
that's what I do.
continue watching the show, but he can't come back. 'cause
I was
otherwise it
gonna
ruins the
tell
joke.
a dad joke about paper, but it was terrible anyway. So I was like,
All right,
Dad,
Oh.
if I leave, I'm not leaving either.
I don't
but
think
I
you've told
can
any
only
dad
sit.
jokes so far the whole day. So start.
did you
let's
get
go.
the one that I just told? Do I have to?
There's like so I used
You
to have
just
a
told
math.
one?
Mate?
Which one?
I was gonna tell one about paper, but I didn't because it was terrible.
We had a couple in
Terrible.
the chat. There was Nina had
Terrible.
a couple.
Like
Terrible.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's terrible. I
looking
didn't
for
hear the
Nina's.
joke.
Maybe I'll tell some other time.
Nina. Come
I was
on,
just
you
confused because I
didn't
told
see
a
it,
joke and
Matt?
no one laughed. So I was like, I wonder if they got it.
Oh,
You didn't see
but I didn't
Nina's?
hear it. Maybe my internet cut out. I didn't hear the joke.
I didn't see it. Was it? It
Is
was
Jake
bad.
coming
It's
back?
back.
No.
Now I can't find
No,
it.
Jake's not coming.
Nina had a cute one.
Jacob.
Oh, what
Jake
did
is
one?
now.
Yeah, he's gone. What did one watermelon say to the other on Valentine's Day? You're one in a melon. I can't see myself without you.
You know, that reminds
Thank
me
you,
of
Nina.
That's pretty good. That's
Never-
pretty good.
that reminds me of why you should never kiss on January 1st. Because it's the first date.
Resistance Impulse sent a $4.99 super chat thing.
Hold on, we'll
No,
read them.
bring
We'll
back
read them.
Jake.
We'll read them. We'll read them.
Oh.
Let's do
Well,
it.
you got to read
Wait,
Jake.
I don't
Over.
understand. Why don't you want to do that? What? In January?
That's not it. That's the only. Um,
That was
Andrea.
Snorky.
I don't have time to explain dad jokes.
R.I.P.
didn't
boiling
get it.
water.
I'm
You will
sorry.
be missed.
I'm sorry.
So the good thing is now Jake is in the chat with the rest of you guys.
Yeah, which I will be soon too, because I can't even
I-
believe I'm sitting this long.
I have to thank Morbius Dragon for gifting 7. This is one of 7 Letter Hack memberships tonight. That's
Yay.
amazing.
No, you're big,
I'm at like
Morbius.
110 members, I think.
Wow.
Morbius
I'm
Dragon has
certainly not.
given me a lot of super chat gifts.
Yeah,
I have to-
They go everywhere gifting. It's
I have
impressive.
to.
And Brett
My
does
head's
it too.
what the
for
fuck?
Obsolete Optics.
I will say,
Max,
like,
why?
is Max Max must be barking.
Um,
Yeah. What was I saying earlier before Jake bounced out?
well, he'll be in the chat now, so everyone can just rest assured Jake
Okay.
is still with
Oh,
us.
pal Jake is still here.
What was I? Oh, I imagine like probably like in the future, like we may have like little tiny micro like SD movies kind of thing. If that could be invented, or
Oh, maybe.
I mean, that's
Maybe.
already like you can just do that. You can just put it on there.
There's not going to be any one way, though.
As far
No
as, like,
one's going to
physical
settle
media.
in on what the way.
Oh, yeah.
forward
Oh, yeah.
is.
We're
It's
Yeah.
going to be in
And plus,
complete
like,
disarray.
we could never predict when these things are going to happen. I mean, 15 plus years ago, who could have predicted YouTube? And now look.
I would go a little further back than 15 years.
Yeah, I'm just
Maybe
putting it
20.
hypothetically. Yeah,
Yeah, I
20
think I
years.
could
Like,
predict YouTube in like 2009. It seemed pretty predictable at the time. I don't.
But you're
I don't
right.
know.
I mean,
oh, like for
YouTube
me,
itself
really,
wasn't predictable.
for like me though, for me anyway, like the whole social media aspect began in like 2005, 2006. Like pre that, we had blogs and people could we could had IM, but I think really 2005, in my view, kind of that's when the social media aspect started to grow, started to go off the top. But we didn't even have a term for that yet. That would be like another decade before we figured, oh, this is media and it's social, and so we call it social media.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's tough to predict anything. Like,
I mean, I had 3 Twitter accounts. This is really weird to say, but I had like 2 or 3 Twitter accounts. I've had 3 Twitter accounts in the last uh couple years. I mean, the last 2 I've had are like the
um,
current one I have now, and then the one I had before I got hacked
I'll
was
just
like the
assume
main
all three
Twitter.
were following me, but you
Well,
can't
no,
really.
2 out of 3 of
Oh,
those were actually
thanks.
following you.
So
Pretty
you
much
can't.
now, the one I have now, everyone's
Letterhack has
following me.
inflated numbers. You've heard it here first, folks. This is some
I
fucked up shit
can't.
going on.
I mean, apparently
Bot
not.
accounts. We got robots. We got
Trust me, I have
fucking
so
Not
many
on
bot
my
accounts
channel.
sock
following me.
Not
puppets.
me.
I got a lot of bot type accounts following me, and I'm not following them back.
But
Oh,
just
on
think
Twitter?
about.
Oh, Twitter's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Just
Well,
think about
now
through
that
Sock
history.
puppets. Look at this.
fucking
This is Letterhack's fucking following.
You know, I
base.
have to say
That's my
something
blue sky
on
follower
on
account right
climate
there.
Yeah, this
Twitter.
is
I
fucked.
don't have trolls on climate Twitter. Not that many, really. I'm surprised, but I really don't. And I'm glad, but I have cut back a little bit, Matt, just so
yeah,
you
and
know.
I have too. I
Good.
I've been
mean,
trying. No,
but
I
it
was really
but
I
it's
mean,
like
I'm in there
honestly
right every
hard to
day.
stay away, isn't it? Like
It is
there's
when
like you
you're
have to get the
It's
engagement
not. Take
is
it off your
there.
phone, man. Just
Yeah, but I get a
make it
lot
like
of
on your
news
laptop only or
reports
something.
I
I
would
took
never have
Twitter.
known
I took Twitter off
without
my
that.
iPad because I can't find a way to sign out. I
But
Oh.
think once
Sandy,
you
that's
sign
not
in,
Twitter doing the news
No,
alerts.
it's
That's
other people.
whatever
It's
that.
all the community I'm in telling us what's
But
going
they're
on with
coming from websites that you could
Yeah,
go to. You just go
all
to
the
those
different
outlets.
websites. I do that too, but it's just I'm lazy. Twitter's like 2 seconds and there's 14
Design a
people.
map. Design an app that aggregates all of the news breaking stories, and instead of Twitter,
Couldn't we do
everyone's
that
like,
on Blue Sky? Weren't we trying to
not.
do that on another one? But
That's
you
what I'm
can't do the
saying
same
though.
Blue
It's
thing.
Sky's
like
still
Blue
in,
Sky.
Blue
everyone's
Sky's
like, oh,
still in
I
its
go to
infancy.
Twitter for news. Are you fucking kidding? Because that's like a
All right,
small thing
I
of what
shouldn't say
Twitter's
it like
for.
that. My
Well,
people's commentary
but it makes
on
me
the shit
wonder.
that's happening.
Exactly, but it
Blue
makes me wonder, why isn't there an app that's just giving you
Okay,
download
that's
the
a
app,
good
you
idea.
put in the news outlets you want, there's
Uh-huh.
your headlines every day.
Well,
Where
Google does
does
that.
that
They email
exist?
it to
Yeah.
you. Google does it. I put
Yeah,
in
but
what I
Google's
want.
got
They
their
send
fucking
me.
Yeah, I
algorithm
wouldn't trust
fucking
that.
shit.
Well, they
Could
send
you
me
have predicted
in-
Google
Like
searches?
Blue Sky is still kind of in its
Mm.
infancy at this point. I mean, they've
Yeah.
stopped doing the invite only, but like they're just now rolling out kind of they're in the post beta phase. Like they're starting to roll out like an
Mm-hmm.
official like here's what we look like phase. Like they put out a new logo that's like a butterfly. And like I'm
Oh,
pretty
really?
sure I'm predicting like probably within later this year or probably next year, they're gonna start adding more and more features like DMs and you can like you could post pictures
Oh, I see the
on
butterfly. Look at that.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I
like
haven't been on it in a while.
it's slowly but surely coming out of its beta phase and it's gonna start like becoming more and more official.
And there's
Yeah.
the left past 10 on that Johnny. Too late. Thank you. He's another person that
Yeah,
shares all
I
of
love
our
Johnny
shows
Too Late.
everywhere. He's wonderful. Thank
Hey,
you,
Yes,
Johnny.
he
We
do
gotta
you
have
guys?
that day for you.
I got a history question for you. Do you know where the Declaration of Independence was signed?
I think it was in the British colonies.
1776.
It's
No,
I know
it
the
was.
year.
dad joke.
It was at the bottom, underneath all the writing.
You're
I
not
knew
gonna
it
make me
was.
Google
Well, it
it,
was
are you?
signed by
I
multiple
knew
people.
it
Some of them
was.
Yeah.
signed it like not all the way at the bottom.
There's that like
The
there's
mid
that
bottom.
there's like this weird Family Guy clip of them all signing the Declaration of Independence and like instead of John
Remember
Hancock,
that
they say John Foot Penis. And they're like, he changed his name. It's Hancock now.
That's funny.
Or
Typical.
like they use a thing where it's like, what do they name Rhode Island? And we'll flip a coin and it's heads Rhode Island, tails Cockapoo Pee Pee Shire kind of thing, and it's hilarious. But that first one is just where my mind went to. They're all signing the Declaration of Independence, and they're reading the names off. Thomas
Brilliant.
Jefferson here. Was it Ben Franklin here? And he's like, John Foot Penis? And he's like, no, it's Hancock now.
That is funny. Laughing is
I
one
told
of the
your joke.
best things.
Why did that guy
Yeah.
write so big? It's crazy.
All right.
It's a joke.
All right. I'm leaving my channel up. I'm getting
Yeah,
off too because
it's
I
almost
drove
midnight.
to Buffalo today and
I am-
back and all
Let's wrap
this.
it up.
So, John, it was a
I-
pleasure. I'm
It
going to
was
let you
awesome,
three.
pleasure.
No, I'll get off. You three usually stay a little bit
No,
longer.
Sandy, I'm
also.
trying to wrap it up. Please,
No, I wanna
don't
stay
invite anyone to
longer.
stay.
I'm
I
not
want to
then.
stay
Okay.
longer. I would like
But,
to stay longer.
It
Mwah.
was fun hanging out with you, Sandy. Please have a good night and a good week.
I have actually. I really have.
It was
No, I
Thank
mean,
you.
I mean, going
Sandy.
forward,
Yes.
I look forward to your next show.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit, is it
Friday
only
night with Nicholas
Wednesday?
Humphrey
What
and
day
Kelly
is it?
Lincoln she's from K-Mud Radio in
Awesome.
Public Radio in
Nice.
Humboldt County, California, and Nicholas
Wow.
Humphrey, meteorologist, and we're going to talk about the atmospheric river and all of the crap that's happened on the West Coast with a meteorologist who is
Great.
getting a PhD in disaster management planning and all that. So this is going to be very interesting.
Cool. Friday
right.
at 8, you
9
said?
o'clock.
9 o'clock Eastern.
Yep. So if you guys want to
I'll be
come in
there.
and understand what the hell went on, we're going
I
to
can't
try
wait.
to decipher it for you. All right. Peace out. Bye,
All right.
Andrea. I love you. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye.
Do we have
She's the
any? Oh,
best.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh,
God
God.
damn it.
Oh,
wow.
God damn. Oh, Jesus damn.
There
Oh,
we go.
Lord
Now
have
we're better.
mercy.
So
Oh.
like I have actually I've like found myself kind of feeling nostalgia for like a lot of how we started on the left. And today, like out of curiosity, I like found the first few episodes of Above It All. Like the
Oh,
very first
jeez.
episode that Andrea did in
Wow.
January of 2020. And I was just
Black
like,
and white?
how like
I think I had a
awesome it
couple
is.
colors back then.
Like I came up with like episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's just like, how awesome it is that we've all kind of gone full circle. Because like if I look at your delivery back then to what it is now, you've obviously become a lot more confident in your delivery, if that makes sense.
I think that's a correct observation.
Cool. And that's meant to be a good compliment, by the way, because I started watching you, Andrea, like a year and a half ago, and was hooked on the fact that you would give Jimmy Dore a mouthful, which, in my opinion, he totally deserved the
Earful.
shit that he's
Earful.
getting. Earful.
Can you
Earful,
believe, like,
mouthful.
back at that point in time, like there were still people afraid to talk about it? Like, it's funnier now,
mean,
obviously, but
yeah.
it's like,
Well,
remember,
here's
like, I
the
remember
thing.
Majority Report was like, we don't like that guy, but like every other show was like,
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I never liked Jimmy Dore in the first place, even when he was affiliated with TYT. I saw right through that guy from the very second. I mean, people are like, yeah, we used to like Jimmy Dore when he was at TYT, and then when he left, we started hating him. I was like, I've always hated that motherfucker.
He
Always have
shouldn't
and always
be in the
will.
tank for, I mean, me being the exception. You shouldn't really be in the tank 100% for anybody like that. It's like you were saying earlier, it's not idol worship. We're just trying to
Yeah.
like just break it down. Just give us some
Yeah.
entertainment for an hour. Just tell us something interesting. Make it more digestible, whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I hope this doesn't this may contradict what I was saying, but like I do appreciate the
Me,
brutal
I do
honesty
too.
that
I'm just
you
kidding.
guys do. I appreciate the brutal honesty that Andrea does. It's like, I mean, it's just because it's honest. I mean, what else do you want me to say? It's like people think like, because I do get curious enough to like read your YouTube comments, Andrea,
oh
and I
no.
see some I know, and it's like I see people who respond to you and they like call you all sorts of like bigoted names, and then like I do like how you respond, and like you're like telling them to cope and seethe and like all that good stuff.
I
But it's
love
just
to
like,
troll the trolls, but that's
yeah,
gotten me in
it's like
trouble.
you have
12
a
a.m.
certain
on the East Coast.
style. You have a certain style that I actually think is a great, it's an asset, to
Well, I
your
appreciate that. I consider myself to be an asset as well, and that's why
Government
I
asset.
behave in such an
Psyop.
unpredictable way.
It's
I
all
mean, and
psyop.
also it's like
It's a
you're
psychological
still
app.
on yeah, it's like and you're also still on the forefront of telling people, "Hey, COVID is not over. We all still need to wear a mask. We
Oh,
all
don't
still
get
need
me
to get."
started on this.
Yeah.
I
Hey, we're trying
know,
to wrap it up.
I
Oh
know,
man,
We
I
are
Matt's
wrapping
got
it
a
up.
bedtime here.
but
Matt's been on air for hours.
if it's just Andrea and myself that take the reins, I'd
It's
be
my
on.
it's my platform, though.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah,
be here. So
yeah.
thanks
But
for
it's
hanging
like
out, though.
Well, we
I
can do a
do. I
part
mean,
2 at some point.
I would love to do a part 2, hopefully sooner rather than later. I mean, I
Welcome
would
to do an after show at any
yeah,
time.
I mean, if you guys want to stick around after you hit the end stream button,
No, I'm
um,
saying you can go to one of your own channels and do an after
uh,
show at any time. Now I'm going to start
yeah,
sounding like a dad. All I'm saying is it's midnight and I've been on since 8.
Well, no one told you to be on since 8. This is your schedule here.
No, I
I
know.
mean, I definitely wanted to go further in depth about what happened at TYT with the moderators and stuff
Yeah.
because, you know, if it wasn't for you guys, that would have never took off the way that it should. But yeah. But like I said, like Andrea, I adore you. Like I respect you. I know that's like really hard
Thank
to
you.
accept compliments and whatnot. Um, it it's hard to be like sometimes. I get it. And but I just love what you do. I know I'm probably gonna get canceled by some people on the left, but guess what?
Oh
It's all
no.
worth it. It's all worth it.
I'll never
It's all
forget
worth
when
it to me.
when Andrea was covering the moderators quitting TYT. She
Mhm.
was trying her best not to say you can go watch the Letter Hacks interview with them.
You were
Remember that? She was
you were
like, watch it on 2X if you do.
yeah.
And
But I
she's like,
remember
and don't do it
Andrea
now.
on the night that we did the show. The night that we did the show, Brett Ehrlich's wife, Brooke, was in the chat and was like, you were literally just going, you were giving her you were like flipping the fuck out on her because she kept simping for her husband, obviously, but simping for TYT and saying all this like weird like shit like, oh, they're not really transphobic, which is like total bullshit at this point. And like we're like this is my like 2 cents like with the whole John Idarola. Speaking of, like, I watched the video that you did, like you responding to watching his like thoughts and prayers thing saying like trans men are men, trans women are women, and you saying like it's not enough, you know, like even if his heart was in the right place or his mind or whatever was in the right place, like it's not enough for him to be like, yeah, I support trans people, but like he really needed to call them out, Jank and Anna,
What do
right?
you
And it's like, um, you're too
this
comfortable.
is
What?
this is too long of a conversation. It just
I'm
is.
sorry, I'm
I don't
droning
want to cut
on.
you off, but it's just like one of those things where it's
Oh
like
no.
this is gonna be
Well,
hours of,
basically, it's just like it was like he
and
was.
it's a rehashing. So
Yeah, I know, and
but
we
I get it.
shouldn't do that. But like, basically, the point I'm trying to make is like Andrea was right. He's too comfortable in his studio. He needed to be more, forthright.
I don't
And
know. He was
Yeah, and I
okay.
mean,
He
I
was
don't think
weeks away
people.
from bringing a child into the world, so
yeah,
who knows why decisions are made. But I think that probably had a lot to do with it. But I
so
hear you.
if
I
if
mean,
I like if I'm throwing people, I mean, I don't know any of these people, so if it sounds like I'm throwing them under the bus, it's like,
it doesn't.
well,
But I'm
what do
just
you
saying,
want us
like, I
to
want to
do?
be in on the conversation, and I don't
Yeah,
have the juice for it at the moment. So let's
Yeah, we'll
call it.
definitely do a part
What?
2 at some point.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, we'd definitely have you back on for sure. This was really cool. Is there
Should
anything
I
that you want to
should I
like
do
promote
yeah,
or?
plug? I mean, like, you could find me on Twitter or find me on YouTube, which is actually this is where this is streaming. I have another interview coming up on the 24th with Dan from the internet. It's gonna be at 6 p.m. It's gonna be Saturday, 24th, 6 p.m. CST, 4 p.m. his time, PST, and I'm on Twitch. I game stream on there, talk left politics. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Snapchat, all that good stuff.
Excellent.
Andrea,
Yeah.
you got a show Friday?
Oh, I got one fuck mother of a show. The war on fucking everybody continues. You're gonna love it. Well, or
Oh.
not. I don't know.
Is that what it's called? The War on Everyone?
Well, I kind of, it's not what it's called. It's just but that's what it turned into.
Are you
start
Sounds clickable.
recording and then I just keep going
Are
until
you
I
ever
stop.
gonna probably do live streams again, or are you just gonna keep doing premieres?
At some point, at some point, it's like a rotating focus for me. I want to focus on other
Right.
stuff, and like doing a live thing, it's just a lot of mental energy to maintain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. It does take a lot of the wind out of your sails.
closer to the election, though, I'll be.
Yeah, we
getting
should
into
do
it
it.
'cause
We
that's
should
gonna be
do a
fun.
because also real quickly, we were supposed to do it. We were planning to do an interview like 2 years ago, Andrea, and then like
Yeah,
it
I'm
just
not
should
good at
do
fell by the
that.
this.
Well, like we should. This is just an idea, but we could do as closer to the election. We could do like a election type stream. Something I've
Sure.
wanted to do for a while, but just
Do it.
never really had the time to do it. And now is a good time, but I just don't want to do it by myself. And I really need someone to kind of who knows the political system as well as I do, probably more so. And I think you're a good candidate. You're
Yeah,
That sounds like a
great
plan.
candidate.
If I am at the spot in my mental space where that is something that I'm
Yeah.
capable of taking on, like, yeah. Um,
And again, I
I'd
get
like
it.
to get back into
mentally.
it closer to the election, but we'll see.
And I get it too. Mentally, it's just it is a drain. And doing
Yeah,
this is fun, it's passionate, but it's also it takes again a lot of energy out of you.
Well, I hope everyone had as good of a LT9K day as I did.
Yeah, I feel bad now because I didn't mention Looney Tunes 900.
You
Well,
did.
give that person some love. Well, I didn't mention him enough. Give that person some love. If it wasn't for Looney Tunes promoting all of our stuff, including mine, I wouldn't be here. So I have to give a lot of gratitude to Looney Tunes 900.
Well,
You're
thanks
a
again.
role model.
Thanks again for coming on, Andrea.
Absolutely, I
It's always a
appreciate it.
pleasure. And thanks to everyone else. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Countries are coming up with nuclear.
This is funny. Jake, you're muted. You're muted. Jake, look at the chat. You're muted. Jake, look at the chat. Everyone's telling you you're muted. Jake, you're muted. Okay, hold on. I used to be able to read lips a little bit. Let me see. The letter hack. Oh, he's talking about me. The letter hack is genuinely amazing. Beyond just a YouTube show, letter hack is probably one of the greatest things God has given the earth. Wow. Sometimes letter hack is just talking and I zone out because it doesn't matter if I know what he's actually saying. It's pure gold. Thanks. That's quite the combo. I wish you weren't muted. If Letterhack ever sees this, I'll feel slightly embarrassed because I'm really just going on and on. But it was time that somebody said it. He should be king of the universe. Not that I believe in kings, but since we have a universe, he should be in charge of it. Okay. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but I appreciate it. Then he says, and then when I look at this guy,
nuclear weapons, which is the real global warming threat, not the ocean will rise
you
over the
kidding
next
me?
400
The mic was off that whole time.
years by a